Hello everyone, how you doing? Welcome to GameTechUK. Welcome to Friday evening here on the channel. We've got something fun planned for you tonight. We've got a 3-hour endurance on Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PlayStation 5. And the lovely Matt Fox, who you will know from the chat, he's been with me all day in the gaming room. He's sitting right there. Go on, give him a little wave. He's been with me all day and we went out for a lovely Nando's. We've been playing a bit of Star Citizen. We've been practicing racing and Matt is going to take over the stream. So in a minute I'm going to go over there. I'm going to have no headset and no microphone and no chat either. It's going to be Matt's stream, which is absolutely awesome. We're going to have the two PlayStations connected up as we do here. And obviously, ordinarily, I usually just have it on my car because from a viewing point of view, it sort of makes sense. But obviously, Matt's going to be spectating. So you're going to have a mixture of my stream or my game, the spectate cam, and a mixture of all of them. And Matt's going to be spectating and taking over. So yes, that's what we got for you tonight. So we're going to do half-hour practice. That's going to start at 5 in the morning in game time. And we've got the race, which will start at 4 o'clock in the morning. So it will start off dark, but the rest of the stream will be in the daytime, as opposed to what we did last time, which was we started off light, but most of the stream was in the dark. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Let me say some hellos and I'm going to give it straight over to Matt. This stream has nothing to do with me at all. Hopefully with no stream chat to deal with. Hopefully I might even race better, you never know. Right, okay, let me say hello. We've got Chris M, we've got Melody, hello Pug, Potter, Lance, we got Kim City, Kinetic. When is the next one? Oh, I'm not sure, but it won't be long. Smurfin, how are you? Stephen R, Pugwash, Melody, Alan R, all the R's in together. Hello Para, we've got Epic, Laura, PJ Morris, Mark Peters, we've got Beverly. 3 hours of dad jokes from Matt. Hi Jason and Matt, looking forward to this. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well, Taste. Thank you very much, mate. 8 months, I appreciate that. Spur time, we got Tanner. How are you, Tanner? Big M, Pug. 2 mentions already. So I will come on at the end of the stream after the 3-hour race, but I think it's time to hand it over to Matt. I'm done. I'm out of here, all right? It's over to Matt. Here we go.
Right, hello everybody, how are we doing? Hope you've all had a really good day, nice end to the week. Phew. Put me down. So, first thing we're going to do, everyone, Big M, you're unwell, what a choker. Hi Mel, FaZe, Chrissy, yes, if you've not seen anything that I do, you obviously won't know what I look like, but I look like this. So make sure your kids are in bed. I don't want them to have nightmares. Right, first of all, we need to reset the server so that we can get the qualification underway. So I'll do that now. Okay, that's restarting. Now I need to get us back in the server.
Go to grid only.
Oh yes, there we go. I've got auto shutdown enabled somehow. There we go. Let me get in here then. So that at least we'll be able to see everybody. I'll come back to the chat in a second. Jolly good. Let's come down to there. Marvellous. Oh yeah, and we've got Eva in the background. If I move out of the way, there's the dog.
She's in a blanket.
Oh, look at her. Superb. Right, so let's get this on. Oven gloves on. Yep, you got a bad bug to top it off the flu as well. How did someone marry that? Cheers, Para. Nice. I've been married twice, Para. I'm on to the second Mrs. Fox. The avatar is accurate. I know the avatar is accurate. In fact, I was looking at this earlier. I'm thinking, goodness me, I don't know what is actually whiter, my hair or my shirt. It's certainly going to be overexposed on a few people's screens. How many times will Jason start talking to the... It's when he starts touching his ear. That's when we've got to start worrying, when he needs the little boys' room. I've got to be careful I don't kick the second PlayStation.
Yes, don't do that.
Because that could make the stream very, very... How's your wheels and pedals, Jace?
Yeah, all good. You can't hear the sound through the TV, can you?
I can't hear anything because I've got this on. But yeah, Richard was asking about the new wheel and pedals. I had a bit of a go on them earlier. The wheel's very nice. It's a smaller diameter. It's about 27, 28 centimetres compared to the other one. So we were discussing this earlier. It feels a lot tighter, but we think it's because your hands are closer together, so it sort of bunches you up. Oh yeah. Got to do that, haven't you? If it's a GameTech stream, got to set it on. What else have we got? We've been in the hen house today. The hen house? I have no idea what you mean, Smurf. Is the password GTUK all uppercase? Password GTUK Rusty? I don't think there's a pinned messages there, so no. That's okay. We don't. It's,
does anyone else want to join? I'm struggling. We've only got 10. Does anyone else want to join?
Is anybody waiting to join who can't join? Hasn't got the details? Look for GameTech. Search for the server GameTech. Password GTUK in capital letters. It's very straightforward. PJ's been to the Christmas light switch on. Is that in your town, PJ? Not in your house or anything? Jace did spoil me at Nando's. He was very kind, even though Jason Max only had a medium sauce. So yeah, you know, when they ordered a medium sauce, I had to put on a disguise because I couldn't possibly be seen out in public. Review toy time. Hello, review toy time. Do not adjust your set. There are actually 2 people in this room and a dog, obviously, at the moment. 2 men and a dog, and I mean the amount of fur in this room at the moment is incredible. No wonder we've got the aircon on. You're in Yarmouth. That's lovely, PJ. Well, thanks for dropping by. What do we got at the moment? Who's on track? We've got 10 on track. We seem to be very heavily weighted in McLarens. Who's the other guy? Exactly. I'm actually Jason's long lost twin brother. Slightly more handsome, or if you prefer, this is the worst before and after cosmetic surgery shot you'll ever see. You're getting 322 megabits per second on your 2 gig fibre Virgin Media.
Don't forget to tell them to leave a cheeky like.
A cheeky like, yes. We had a cheeky Nando's. We'd also like a cheeky like down the bottom. Doesn't cost anything. This is good. Everybody's coming in. If someone farts, who do we blame? Dog. It's the dog. It's always that. If you see what the dog eats, it's always the dog. Jason's had a medium. He's not going to be putting out any sort of emissions. This is a ultra low emission zone in this room tonight. Yes, you are. We wake you up there, Eva. Bless. Yeah, loves her blanket. Right. Only got 11, that's okay. Well, no, I'm one of them, am I? So.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think you can.
Because I'm on the list as number 11, Max GTUK. If you've not, hello, Duck. Nice to see you. Have a good evening. If you've not visited before, this is not a normal thing to have a pilot and a co-pilot, or a driver and a co-driver. I am Nicky Grist to Jason's Colin McRae. The wheel looks tiny, makes his hands look big though, Mel. You know, as it's pros and cons. But yeah, basically, this is a new thing. The way that this is all happening is there's 2 of everything, 2 PlayStations, 2 copies of the game. One of the PlayStations is logged in as a spectator, and with a little bit of computing magic, you've got this lovely display here. But who do we have making their way? FaZe is... Now, FaZe is quick. We know FaZe is quick, despite the fact he's driving an old person's Honda. That's fine. I just make out... Yep. I can just make out there is a fancy decorative tissue box holder on the rear parcel shelf of FaZe's Honda. How are the volumes? Melody. Have I got the new premium chair? Yes, I have got the new Next Level Racing. Very good chairs, obviously, if you're in the market for a chair. Next Level Racing, very nice, very comfy. How are the audio? I don't know, how's it sounding? Are we okay balance-wise? This is Brands Hatch Epic. Sounds great, good. Jason did preset it and he said it would be sounding great. So yes, this is Brands Hatch. This is just up the road from where we're sitting, about 30 minutes or so. Jason's home track, Jason's favourite track. Cheers, Mel. This is good. So who have we got? I mean, FaZe is in the pits. Let's get away from FaZe. Let's have a look at Potter. Potter's in his little purple McLaren, looking to find FaZe has done. He's basically sat down and thought, right, that is going to be pole time.
Yeah.
Firebolt in third. He's 7/10 off, so he might not be wrong. Actually, that is quite a good time. Spur times here. That will be good news for Jace. Spur times here. Jason likes to get involved in some close quarters stuff with spur time. Who else we got? Blaster 007 Chris M. Mark's here. Stu's here. Stu is in early, getting lots of practice in. You can see me as a race commentator. I hope not, to be honest. Then it's the what's the name of that body that is it Ofcom, where you complain about things you see on TV and stuff. They'd have to employ twice as much staff. Have I got a DD Pro, Matt? I don't have a DD Pro. Jason has a DD Pro. You can just see it. This is awkward. There it is. There's the DD Pro. If you type in !wheel into the chat, you'll get the video. You'll get the video review of that wheel. The actual rim is new. The rim is the is it Formula Carbon V2 or something? 2.5. Okay, yeah. It's brand new wheel for Jace to use. You can see, well, you can see on the wall we've got the McLaren has been relegated just above the guitar. There we go. Cheers, Mel. Yep, let's have cheers, Soderman. Very kind. But yeah, put a like in. Likes are appreciated. Now Potter's in the pits. Let's look at spur time. There we go. Keep your eyes in the mirror, spur time. The car you're looking for is a red McLaren with a couple of front-mounted machine guns. Although I noticed that spur time is actually 2/10 slower than Jason, so he's taking a bit of preemptive avoidance action. It is actually, you're right, Pug. It is like, this is the sim racing version of a big game hunter's lounge with all the stuffed heads on the wall. Every time he, in fact, the wheel he hasn't got on the wall.
Because it fell off.
Because it fell off because it was too heavy. I mean, this is so heavy. You could knock out 20-30 reps with this. There should be a fitness video at Christmas called Build Muscle the Fanatec Way, and you could sit there and do, it's quite nice, you can do some curls. It's a good grip. But this one, yeah, too heavy for the wall. So they're not all on there. I haven't affected your screen there, have I, Jace? So I'm conscious of that PlayStation controller. Oh, right. Ben Hur rims.
Anyone else waiting to join, Matt? What's the details?
Anybody waiting to join who hasn't got the details for the thing, let me know in the chat and we'll sort you out. Yep. Yep, 19 minutes left of qualifying, so if you're going to get in, you need to get in soon. Get a couple of laps in. Is that Jason's concentration face? That face he uses for a few things in his life. We'll just say that it's his concentration face for now to just avoid any sort of confusion. I need a racing gun. You can, to be honest, Duck, you can come in with the controller. You say it's not great. It's all right. It's passable on console with the controller, because obviously a lot of console players are going to have controller. So the game has been specifically made with extra controller help to make it feel a lot more natural. So yeah, if you've got a controller, just jump in, join the fun. It's fine, not a problem. Is that the wall of things that are now dead to me? Well, you'll know if it is, Colonel, because on the next stream I'll be on the wall. So there's plenty of room for other rims. If anybody wants to send him a rim that he can use for a few weeks and then hang on the wall. I'm very discreet. Discretion is my middle name, Pug. You know this. I've met Pug in real life. Pretty smooth with the controller. It's great with wheel. The thing is, and this is a popular misconception. The thing about making a transition, you hope my room won't be on the wall. Ha! Too late, Pug. Too late smurfing. The thing about transitioning from a controller to a wheel, it's not the wheel, it's the pedals that take more getting used to. Because on the controller, you just have a tiny amount where you have the brake, and it's very hard to modulate, especially if you're trail braking. It's very hard to get right, very hard to be accurate, and when you're braking going into a turn around a bunch of other cars, that's where you need to be accurate. The steering, you know, you're going to be suffering from maybe slight understeer, oversteer anyway, but it's the braking you need to get absolutely perfect. So it's getting used to the pedals, which takes more than the controller, but it's fine. You just come in and just drive safely and everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. Dog check. Yep, dog asleep still. I drove... Is she snoring? Oh, bless. I drove my wife's automatic at the weekend, stalled the van on Monday, forgetting the clutch. That's happened to me, sort of. I had an auto, my wife had a manual, and we drove down on holiday to Cornwall, and we swapped over driving duties halfway, and the first thing I did was basically to forget there was a clutch and nearly sent us into the back of a car at a roundabout. So it's easily done, Pug, easily done. And Jason's now up to 5th. Spur time's doing. Let's go down and have a look at Blaster 007 007. Another McLaren. How many McLarens we got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still got 10 in at the moment. It's a 3-hour race. 15 minutes left. If you're waiting to join, you need to dive in. Search for GameTech. Password is GTUK, all uppercase. Oh yeah, do I follow the BTCC? I don't really follow the BTCC. I haven't actually raced anything for 3 weeks now. I'm not in a racing place at the moment. I just wanted a bit of a rest. But before I finished racing, I have been playing a lot of BTCC in R Factor 2 on the low fuel motorsport servers, which is fantastic racing. In my opinion, I think at the moment BTCC in R Factor 2 on low fuel motorsport is the best online racing. It's close, it's fair, it's always very exciting. So that's sort of the extent of my BTCC fanboyish. I don't really sort of watch it on real life on ITV or anything. Me and Jace, our passion is the GT3 cars. So this is really where I get my kicks. Jace doesn't usually have the steering wheel showing on the game. That's very, very true.
Yeah, I just thought I should go for a change.
Just a bit of a change. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, you could, PJ, you can drive an automatic. It's so easy. In fact, I'd say get used to it, because in about 5 years, apart from very, very few exceptions, you'll probably find that all cars are going to be automatic. It's just a lot easier for manufacturers to put all the eggs in one basket. Everybody else here, nothing else new. Still just got 10. A lot of drivers I'm noticing, they haven't updated their windscreen initials. go into your driver profile and put your initials in so it shows you on the windscreen. Do I think Automobilista will come to console? Okay, at the moment, Automobilista 2 is not coming to console because Razer, or Reza, however you pronounce it, the firm that does it, they're a really small studio. They have said if somebody wants to convert it, like the company that did the port for this game, because Kunos Simulazioni did the PC version and then it was given to a company to port to consoles. If somebody comes forward and says we will port a set Automobilista 2 to console, then they'll do it. It is doable. It uses the same graphics engine Project Cars 2 used. It's just a bit more refined. And Project Cars 2 had no problem running on, even a base PS4. So it is possible. It uses very much the same architecture in terms of peer-to-peer lobbies and online racing. So it could do it. And all the menus are very console friendly. But Reza are such a small studio. There's only a few people. I mean, there's hardly anybody there at all. And they're so busy on Automobilista 2 getting out regular monthly updates that they won't be handling it in-house. So unless anybody comes forward and wants to do it, you won't see it on console, which is a shame because it is really, really good game. No gears on electric cars, absolutely para. In fact, to get an automatic car, they give you a free place for your left foot to sit while you drive. It's got its own little chair, it's lovely. Neil picks up his Tesla Model Y on Thursday. Oh, and Knock Hill is your local track, Clark, so you're obviously north of the border up in Scotland. It's Project Cars 3 really? No. It's really what Project Cars 3 could have been, but it's not really Project Cars 3. It doesn't really... It's very different from Project Cars because you don't have this massive expanse of road cars. All the cars in Automobilista 2, with the exception I think of about 2 or 3, they are all racing cars. You don't have some of the things that are in Project Cars like Azure Coastal or California Coastal, those sort of tracks based on real life roads. It really is a much more heavily racing focused game. The reason everybody is always making reference to Project Cars is because it uses the same graphics engine. The Madness engine, which is really, really good, it's very well optimised for pretty much most computers from quite good low end all the way up to high end, especially on VR. It's very, very good in VR, especially the weather, exceptionally good. But yeah, I wouldn't... Blaster's coming to a stop. Let's... sound like Chris M's in the pits. Let's go to Mark. There's Mark. Oh, it's another red McLaren. Another Balf Motorsport red McLaren. Going round Druids, where myself, Jason, another Mark, Elgar from Pug were all... Oh, and Max. And Little Joe were all... Yep, other Mark Williams was there. All watching, and probably Mark's dad as well. All watching the British GT. Is Jace wearing his racing glasses? Those glasses are actually enhanced visual aids. They've got augmented reality. It's a heads-up display. It's a little bit like Stephen Hawking as well. All he's got to do is flick his eye and he puts a pit limiter on, which is a shame because earlier on he had a muscle spasm and he ended up in the wall. But you buy the technology, you have to take the rough with the smooth, I suppose. How are we doing here? FaZe has gone. FaZe is a second ahead. He's come back out. He's now a second ahead of Firebolt. So whatever FaZe did in the pits has obviously worked. There he is in his little Honda. Scarab. Rob, hello matey, how are you? You'll never guess what we played earlier, Scarab. You'll never guess, seriously.
Genital jousting.
Now, not genital jousting. We always play genital jousting. That's the first. We don't even shake hands at the door. It's genital jousting first, introductions later. ESO. No, didn't play ESO. You'll never. Well, I'll tell you. Put you out of misery. We played Star Citizen. Madness. Hide the soap. No, it's better without the soap. Trust me. You really find out who your friends are without the soap. What's up with the incorrect steering lock? Shouldn't be incorrect steering lock, because yeah, it's fine, because a set of Corsa Competizione, it uses an automatic system where you put in your steering rotation in the game, and as long as your steering wheel software has got the same rotation, no matter what the rotation for the car you're using, whether it's 480 or 560 or even 900, it will match it one-to-one with your wheel. So it's fully automatic. Where's he gone, Eva? Where's he gone? He's gone, hasn't he? He's left us alone. Let's quickly change all of his routines. You're confused, Evo. Goodness me. Did it do more than 30 frames a second? In some areas it did, yeah. Jace was very impressed with, especially the things like the maglev going in between the bases. We started up again, because there was almost like a big reset, so when we started playing, it was as if it was from the first fresh install ever, and he's never registered for the game. So we started at Lawville, and then we got into his ship and we flew over to Microtech, and then just to have a look at a few bases to compare them. And yeah, he was very impressed with graphically how it was running. Obviously the first couple of minutes was very jerky, but after that it was great. Anyway, yes, I'm going really well, Zevo. More likes? How many likes are we on? Let's have more. We've got 110 viewers or thereabouts. So, yeah, shares. Go on your social medias. Oh, I mean, I hadn't touched it since 2019, Scarab, and yeah, easy. And I was a bit overwhelmed with it in 2019 because I was playing Elite at the time, and I expected it to be. I thought I'd be able to go into it and play it like I could Elite, and you can't. It's just much more complicated. But when I started playing it again a few weeks ago, as long as you sort of take your time and appreciate the game for what it is, it was much better. So yeah, Jason was very impressed. You never know, he might even start streaming that in future, because there's quite a lot to do. My mouse has died. Oh, okay, you're stuck in the chat. You mean your computer mouse? I had a mouse called Elvis, and he died. Yes, he was caught in a trap. Write that down and use it at Christmas. Right. It's much better. Yes, it's much better now. It's a lot smoother, a lot more coherent. Jump back into it. It's great. Loving all the banter. Thanks, Pearson. Unable to make it for this race. That's okay. Join the next one. Not from.
Someone else is coming.
Oh yes, Rusty. Rusty's here in his Bentley. We've got a Honda and a Bentley. This is turning into the old people's stream. A couple of Audis, Beamers here. Nice. How are we doing on time? 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go. What's it like, Jason, with you not having control of talking? He can still talk, you just can't hear him.
I'm talking up there.
Yeah, he's got the first 50 metres of the race, he's driven in his head. He's fast. What else we've got? Karma's in. Good evening, Karma. You would never believe Matt is a vicar. Do you know what, actually, Smurfin? I am a reverend. This is this is gospel, which is probably something a reverend would say. Hi, Pete. But I am a reverend. I'm a reverend of the Universal Life Church. If you go to you could do it now. In fact, you could do it in the 4 minutes 21 we've got before the qualifying finishes. If you go to ulc.org, it's the Universal Life Church. You can sign up. You can become an ordained reverend, and I can, if I get asked to. If I'm in America, I do have legal powers to perform weddings, as long as they get me the the documentation for that particular state, I can marry you in America. So yeah, in fact, it's a challenge. Go and do it now. See how many new reverends we can get in the Universal Life Church, ulc.org. Go and do it. Costs nothing. I was actually looking to try and see if I could get a cheap internet doctorate, but instead I had to settle with being a reverend. Irreverent. You're quite right, Colonel. This is a sermon, possibly. How are we doing? Good. So we've got 3.5 minutes of quali left. What are the scores on the doors? FaZe has decided that really is it. Firebolt. Let's set Firebolt in his beamer. He's coming up on Mark.
Don't forget you go full green up.
I could, yeah. I think they want to see your they want to see that you're still here and I haven't murdered you, basically. Yes. Let's have a bit of a full screeny job. There we go. That's a very nice looking BMW. We've got Potter coming in hot. This is going to be fruity with the next couple of laps. Firebolt and Potter. No chance of me actually teabagging, Jason. It depends how much money we raise in Super Chat, Scarab, to be honest. If we can get 500 quid, then yeah, let's... it'd be like one of these... It's like Children in Need, but with a slightly twisted slant to it. Are the lap times on ACC comparable between PS5 and PC? I mean, FaZe is really quick. He's doing 125 here. I think it's roughly the same. I haven't really noticed any difference in the speed or the handling of the cars between the two. I don't play on PS5 a lot. I had a bit of a go this afternoon just to try the wheel and Jason's new pedals. But I can't really say there's much of a difference. You tend to find that Sims... Scarab says 500 quid. Codus would come down and do it personally with 2 noughts taken off. A fiver and give change. Sims anyway in general are sort of faster than real life. iRacing tends to be faster than the other Sims. I'm not really sure. I don't think there's much difference between the two. I mean, since the 1.8 update on ACC, it's got in line with the PC more, because when it went to 1.8 on PC, the lap times got slower because the physics model changed. So yeah, they're probably a little bit. And Johnny Vorter's here. Johnny Vorter, good evening, John. Lovely to see you. I know. Oh my God. Yeah, get it shared, Zevo. How are we doing on time? 44 seconds, so we're nearly there. Firebolt's 8/10 off. He's found a couple of tenths from somewhere. Where's Jason? Oh, he's a very respectable 8th. That's okay. Mark and Chris are taking it a bit easy. It's a 3-hour race. What pack would be best to add on first, Roderick? You're a Villa fan, Roderick. That will go down well with Mel. So, I mean, what pack would be best to add on first? If you don't have any of the other DLCs, I mean, cool. If you're talking about the 2 recent DLCs, the Challenger Pack and the American Pack, I'd say go for the American Pack. The Challenger Pack, the only thing about the Challenger Pack which is really worth having is that the Audi R8 Evo 2. Really, really nice car. The other cars in the pack, the new Porsche Cup, the Ferrari Challenge, the BMW C2S, nobody drives those online. You won't find any lobbies. But with the American track pack, those 3 tracks, I mean, Watkins Glen is a fantastic track. Indianapolis is alright, and Cota's alright. Cota's not really a GT3 track, but you'll certainly get more value out of that one than you would. What have we got here? Not talking, not doing him much good then. Cheers, Mel. I've never seen anybody lose their spanner on the stream, but there's a first time for everything, I suppose.
Look at this guy.
Look. she's a soppy fluff. She's lovely, and she looks so. She's because everybody's always asking after Eva. She's so well. Yeah, she was a bit of a poorly girl a while ago, but when I came in today, after she'd unhinged her jaws from my arm,
10 seconds.
she was bouncing around, and she's been really good all day. Now she's been fed. That's it for the evening. She's settling in for 3 hours. So Jason's looking forward to it. We have FaZe on pole in the Honda. We have Firebolt in the Beamer. Potter's the leading McLaren. Stu leading spur time in the Audi. Rusty's jumped into 6th in his Boatley. Then we've got a slew of McLarens with Jason, Blaster, Chris, Mark. Cosmic Wazzers here as well. Hello Cosmic, jumping in the last second. Another Honda. And SJB at the back in a McLaren. But it's 3 hours. Jason looks naked without a headset. Bless. Actually, I'll be honest, even when he is naked, he still wears his headset. It's tradition. So here we go. 3 hours. It's roughly going to be about 120 laps, I think, I calculated. And we are off. Let's see. Turn 1. Let's take it nice and easy. Look at your radars. Look at your radars. FaZe is gone already. We'll see you at the end phase. Everybody's getting around Druids okay. This is good. Okay, this is all nice and calm at the moment. The temptation is Zevo. Well, the temptation is obviously rolling start. Car's already doing a bit of speed. Floor it, get into the corners, try and get a few early positions. But endurance racing is a totally different mindset to sprint racing. You've got to factor in your pit stops, how much fuel you're going to run at the start, how much fuel you're going to take on. Are you going to be going for long stints, or are you going to be going for much shorter ones to try and keep your rubber at its optimum? We're starting quite early in the morning here. It's 5:46 a.m. Somebody's going off there at, as we come through towards Clearways. But with an endurance race, for the first 4 or 5 laps, just hold your position, get your tyres up to temp. I look like a tidy Bill Bailey. Well, I don't know if that says more about me or Bill Bailey Pug, but there we go. What's he going to do if he... Well, no excuses. He's been practising. He's had his game face on all day. When we were in Nando's, he was sort of practising how he was going to line up on the grid with the salt and pepper and the different sauce pots. He made me and Max draw a track on some napkins just so he could get a bit of extra strategy in. He's really, really going to take you all to the cleaners tonight. In fact, even Jason hasn't changed the name on his windscreen. So, greetings from Suffolk. Hello, Artful Dodger. How's it going, dude? Your league race ended a bit... Oh, Raki. Oh, Raki. You don't want to be... I'm surprised you're still sashay around with those league races when this is where the real action's at. It's Friday night. It's GameTech community streams. Firebolt's dropped back a bit. It's all getting a bit busy. Let's go to Jason. Oh, Jason's got a bit squirrely. He's back on. Easy, everybody. How's Rusty doing in his Bentley? Very nice. Already, FaZe has a 1.3 second lead. I think FaZe is going to finish this 3-hour race in about 2 hours 40 minutes. Then he's going to pack up and go. How are we doing through the rest of the field? 1.3 seconds and 3. Bit of a gap between Potter and Stu. Bit of a gap then to spur time. And then after that, it's all fairly close. We've got Firebolt, Rusty, Chris, Blaster, Jason, Marks dawdling along a little bit behind Jason. Then we've got Cosmic Wazza just behind Mark. But there's plenty of time to catch up. Accoutrement racing, a little niche, very niche. Evening, Jason Murray Walker. Cheers, Tripe. I like to win sometimes. Well, you do all right here, Mackie. I know this is the PlayStation version, so you'd be well at home because you've done far more on the PlayStation than you have with your PC. Logic's finest. Good, greetings from Germany. Yes. Good evening from Germany. Guten Abend. GameTech Massive. Actually, no, he's not. It was probably just all those wings he had off the wing roulette. He's just retaining a little bit, but he's actually not that big. Evening, David. Are you drunk, Racky? So thanks for joining us, everyone. It's we're here for the. God, how big is that now? 4 seconds, Potter. Come on, keep it on the track, Pots. Little potty poos. Cheers, Mel. Jace is coming up on Blaster. Let's get there actually, because that's going to be quite a good little battle for a while. Is this the full pay this is the deluxe version of Crew Chief. Sim Racer's arms. How's it hanging, Jason? That is a really supportive seat, so hopefully it's not hanging anywhere at all. Maybe a bit of chafing later, but definitely no hanging. Hello, Jason and his friend. Hello, Quicko. How's it going? And his friend. Obviously, yes, if you're late to the stream, or if you've joined recently, you probably don't know who the hell I am. But I'm Matt. So nice to see you. You'll normally see me in the chat box, quickly writing down all the websites in the porn bots before we ban them. So I've got to check these things out. I've got to be thorough. Jason edges ahead of Blaster. So yeah, it's totally different kettle of fish endurance racing. You've got so much time. It really is just a long series of 1v1 battles. I am Mr. Fox, Quicko. Yes, Mr. Fox. We're only born 6 weeks apart. Jace is 6 weeks older than me, so we're elder statesmen. Don't get up too quick if that seat has bucket holes where they're not needed. Absolutely. Well, it's sitting down too fast. If it's the bucket holes, if he sits down too fast, he won't better stand back up. Not unless I get some fairy liquid from off the top of the sink. Matt is Jason's manager. Ooh, he's off already on the impressions. Now Chris has managed to come back in the contention quite a lot there. He's caught up with Blaster 007, so we'll just stick on Chris for a little bit. We've got 3 McLarens in a row, all the way through the race. We've had no. Oh, and it's Joe. Evening, Joe. Are you at the? Have you got a table? Are you sitting down, Joe? Have you started on the breadsticks? Is the big question. Joe has gone out for the evening with the lovely Kaz. Can we have some full screen, Chief? You want to see? Oh, you mean up there? If I go to the only full screen you'll get with Jason is that, so you only get his point of view. I can't have a full screen just of Jason's awesomeness. Let's go there for a little bit. And Chris is creeping up slowly. But yeah, endurance racing is just 1v1 battles on the guy in front of you, especially on a track like Brands. Brands is. It is, since 2003, it is 2.4 miles, or 3.9 kilometres if you're on the continent. It's a very fast track. Only Druids, turn number 2, is a really slow corner. So you really have to plan ahead about where you're going to set your overtakes up, and you need to see what the driver in front's doing. You don't want to be diving into corners, you want to be doing overtakes as you're coming out of corners. That is by far the safest way to get it done. So you look at, oh, I can see Jason's hands are going all over the place. Is it fine? It's fine.
It's not fucking fine.
It's not fine. What's he done? I can't see. The camera can't see him. Oh, there he is. In fact, Let me have a look at Jason's windscreen. Oh, it's okay.
No, I'll just come off.
Didn't break anything. It's fine. You can drive that. But he's dropped back a bit, so Blaster's not too... No, we haven't gone past the timing line, have we? No, so Jason's just dropped a little bit back. There we go. Dropping down to 9th. That's okay. Firebolt and Rusty and Spur Time having a nice little menage a GT3. This is good. But yeah, with brands, one of those tracks, you've got to learn the track, know it well, so that you're happy with your lines, and then study the guy in front of you's lines and see where they're slow, and then you've got to place yourself in the optimum position so that you get a much better exit out of the corners. The straights aren't that long. You want to get in a position where you're looking at things like the main straight down Hawthorne Hill, or maybe the two shorter ones, which is obviously the start-finish straight, or the one geometrically the opposite side, which is Cooper Straight. So it's a really good track. You can make up a lot of places. Even if you're 10-15 seconds back, you can still find yourself in the front 2 or 3 if you plan your overtakes carefully and where to do it, just by studying. With 3 hours, you've got loads of time. So Firebolt putting Spur Time under a little bit of pressure. Spur Time's not really going to be bothered unless it's a red McLaren, and then it's going to be all hands to the pump and get the plasters out. This is different. Hello Bazza, how are we doing? I'm pleased the dollar exchange rate is going up as you may purchase 3 pieces of DLC for iRacing. Ooh, iRacing, don't forget iRacing, it's currently in week 12. So that means the new build drops next week. There is a new car, free, and a new, whole series. I'm not sure what license it's going to be, but it's the Toyota GT86 Cup car, because that is a series in America, which I think is one of the IMSA support series. So you've got a whole new car, Virginia International Raceway. It's one of John Volter's favourites. That's getting a bit of TLC, but John isn't playing iRacing at the moment because it makes his eyes go blurry. But yeah, do I need to be in a car? I don't need to be in a car. The best way that we've found that we're doing this at the moment is in this mode. You can see at the bottom I'm taking basically Max's place and it's a spectator. But we're having a tiny issue early with spectator cam, but this is the best way we've got it going, and it's doing a pretty good job so far, as is Spur Time. We're just keeping Firebolt behind him. Rusty's looking to pick up any sloppy seconds. Stu and Potter are fairly close. Let's have a look. Stu and Potter. The Audi is my particular favourite. If I ever play Assetto Corsa Combat, it's the only I stick to the Audi. I don't use the number 46 Valentino Rossi livery. My one is the red, white and black version. Valentino Rossi and that team, obviously they're not using Audi next year, WRT. They are changing to BMW. C licence, yeah, I think you'll be okay then, Quicko. I think it's probably going to be a D licence or higher, but it is free content, so you don't have to worry about buying the new car. I sound like a golf commentator or Wimbledon. Well, the Wimbledon and golf commentators have to whisper because they don't want to put off. Do we know when the next iRacing test driving is? I'm not really sure what you mean there. Do you mean week 13? How's that new wheel rim? It's very nice, actually. I can vouch for that on Jason's behalf. Karma's here. Recently started iRacing. I would have made it out of rookie, but a car disappeared and reappeared in front of me. You'll get that with iffy connections and latency issues. Oh, I see. When you can test drive the cars you don't own. That will be when they drop the new builds. That's either next Tuesday or Wednesday. Keep looking at the news screen on iRacing, because that will tell you when they're dropping the build, but it'll either be Tuesday or Wednesday. Lately, when they've been dropping new build, because the season obviously ends on a Monday night and they start the new season on a Tuesday, Oh, Potter's had a bit of an off track there. Stu's going to catch up. Won't be able to pass just yet unless he can get him into the next straight. But I think Potter's just got enough of a gap there to avoid that. Yeah, normally at the moment now they've been doing the big build drop on the Wednesday. But yeah, test drive, get in there, test drive any of the cars you don't own. If you haven't done it yet, I definitely recommend having a play, even though you're not quite at the license to race it all the time. Although there is a C license series for it. Have a go in the Mercedes W13 Formula 1 car. It's one of the best cars in sim racing. Not as hard or as daunting as you'd think to drive. Stu's being very smooth around here at the moment. Potter, we know Potter's fast, but Potter's had a few offs. So usually after you've just had a couple of off tracks, your concentration tends to be a bit shaken, and Stu's just biding his time there. How are we doing back further? We're spacing out a bit now. So spur time 3.5 seconds back. Rusty's off. He seems to have made it back on okay. Firebolt's right up with spur time now, so spur time's got to take more time looking in the mirror than he has in front. There's no one going to update their 3-player letter codes on their windscreens, honestly. After the racing, tune into GTUK 2 for after race coverage and behind the scenes actions of Jace, Matt and some talcum powder. And that's Pete. It's actually Jace, Matt, some talcum powder and half a jar of jellied eels. What is Jason's strategy for this race? I think that strategy's already gone out the window because he's been off. But twice. I didn't want to say anything, but he's fessing up to it. I mean, ultimately, the strategy here is just keep the car on the track for as long as you can. If you come off, don't send it into a wall. 3 hours is a very long time in any sort of racing, especially when you've got that single. It's just you driving. Obviously, if you were having a 3-hour endurance race in real life, you'd have 2 drivers. But having to concentrate for 3 hours in a row, very difficult, even in sims like this. So you just want to make sure you make as few errors as possible. You can sacrifice a bit of top speed. Nobody's told FaZe that. He's 14 seconds ahead. But he's practically in next week's race, essentially. But yeah, so just keep it on the road. People are going to make mistakes, especially when you get your tyres changed. You probably won't change your tyres every time. You might double stint. It's probably an hour and a half maybe is the most you're going to get out of these tyres. But when somebody comes out after about an hour and a half, when they come out of the pits, then they're probably at their most vulnerable because of grip levels and stuff like that. Hey man, hi Joseph. It's me in person. I won't type hey Joseph in the chat, I can just say it. Don't think the 3 letters work. You've had yours set and it still shows as PLY. Okay. Thought Jason would be going to the Sim Expo. Hello Speedforce. Is he going to the Autosport Birmingham in January? I don't know, probably not actually. Birmingham in January, Mel will testify to this, Birmingham in January is probably a bit cold, a bit wet and a bit depressing. What else have we got here? Watkins Glen at night is amazing. Watkins Glen any time of the day is amazing really, it's a good track. I was in I think it was Discord the other day, or it could have been just a forum, and there were some people bemoaning why don't they use Watkins Glen in F1, and it's like, well, it's because F1 wants flashy street circuits like Las Vegas. They've got perfectly good tracks like Watkins Glen, Road America, which is an amazing track, but it's all about attracting the shiny. So at the moment they could have had Watkins Glen, but they're preferring to go with their street tracks and their car park tracks down at all. Mark's having to make a bit of a detour to let Firebolt and Spur Time through. That's very nice of you, Mark. Don't sacrifice your own race. You can move over and let everybody else through. Don't go miles off track, they'll get around you. Sim Racers Arms is jumping into Birmingham's defence here. I think you'll find that the Autosport show NEC is actually in Solihull. I mean, Solihull, Birmingham. That's like, you know, Lethal Injection or Electric Chair, isn't it, really? We love Birmingham here. Smurfin loves Birmingham. Mel doesn't recommend Birmingham. Well, exactly, yeah. Scuds in, evening Scuds. Yeah, why aren't you why aren't you in the grid, Scud? What a letdown. We settled this all up just for Scud. We've got to move. Firebolt's just given a touch. Oh. Firebolt's just misjudging the front of his car. And Spur Time has got that familiar feeling of leaving the track, but Firebolt's waiting for him. That's okay. Here comes Blaster. Okay. Cheers, Firebolt. That's the gentleman thing to do. Just he's made a bit of a mistake. He can have another go in a minute. It'll catch up to him. And I don't think there's any massive damage on Spur Time. Oh, and Mark's off again. Mark's taking a joker lap. 17-second gap now. There's Stu. Stu's making his way around 4 seconds behind Potter. Who have we got? Well, it's Blaster, Firebolt, and Chris, who are the three closest at the moment. They're all a second behind each other. You can see him on the screen there. Who's behind? Give it back, well done. Yeah, that's the way. That is the GTUK community way. Yes, there will be tiny errors. Nothing's deliberate. Remember your etiquette. On blue flags, let people pass safely. And if you've made a bit of a mistake, which somebody suffers as a result, let them get the place back. We've got plenty of time to resume racing once you get back on track. So someone's just gone into the pits. That was Spur Time. So perhaps Spur Time is deciding with 22 minutes on the clock that maybe we'll come in and get see what the damage situation is like. Now Jason and Firebolt are fairly close together, so we'll just leave it on there for a moment. I think Mark is probably a lap or so down, but that's okay. Can you give Jason some team radio? Depends if he's paid for the clean version or the dirty version. It must make a nice change to not have to worry about managing the stream. Oh, that is a big stretch. That was a big doggy stretch. It's a good job we're not in motion platform mode tonight, otherwise Eva would be dreaming that maybe her head was stuck in a washing machine or something. Well, I think he's got no choice with a hamster bladder, so if he needs to empty it. Luckily I'm not going to be jumping on the rig after Jace, so whatever he does in it is perfectly fine. There's a power washer the other side of the wall. It's all good. Am I making the tea tonight? Do you know what? I'm not making the tea, but I don't think Jace is in a position, unless we got him a straw and a button on his wheel for drink, like the professional drivers do. That'd be so good if we had a professional GT driver who, instead of their isotonic drink with electrolytes, if it was just Tetley 3 sugars. Everybody is nicely spaced out around the track now at this time, so this is good. And again, this is something you'll find more with the longer endurance races. Is that an Ivan Lendl top? Jason, yes it is. If I just pop myself up, it's a proper one. Yes, Ivan Lendl, and it's the best colour scheme, the light blue, not like the later grey and yellow rubbish that came out. This is the best colour schemes, one of my favourite. I've actually gone on a bit of an 80s tear today because I've got my Yvonne Lendl shirt and I've also got the Casio World Time digital watch. I'm not wearing my Diodora Borg Gold Elite trainers though, for the complete 80s look. How are we looking? Let's have a look actually and see . 16 laps in so far. This is good. Yeah, I think we can safely say FaZe, unless FaZe makes a mistake, and he is very consistent, very rare to see FaZe make a mistake, but I think it's safe to say that FaZe might have won this one. Spur time's back out. I mean, we're back to 11. We did have 12, you're right. Who has dropped out? Mark is still here. Cosmic Waz is still here. Rusty's still giving it a go. Chris is still there. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I imagine whoever it is probably back in the chat. So I have to. Yeah, when he pits, I've got to go and wipe his glasses.
Chris is doing very well. I can't catch him.
Yeah, Chris, well, he's nice and consistent. Is Chris? So here's Chris coming through. Jason's just in shot behind him, and in shot just behind Jason is Firebolt. In about oh, I don't know, about 15 minutes we might start to see a lot of people coming in for pits. Wipe is what at our age, Pete. Yeah, you have to be so precise with what you've got to wipe. Hi Lishay, how's it going? Who did I miss? Did I miss somebody further up? No, I didn't. SpongeBob Underpants. It's so nice to see. We've got 120. Nice to see so many people joining us on a Friday evening. It is football time, isn't it? They're in the second half of the last round of group games in the World Cup. Yeah, we're all good, Lachey. All good. We've had a very nice day. Me and Jace, we had a play date today. So we did each other's nails. We gave each other some temporary tattoos of unicorns. Did each other's hair. That sort of thing. Made each other a mixtape. Did a bit of singing into a hairbrush with a copy of Smash Hits for the lyrics. It wasn't a hairbrush. I wondered why you made me wear that blindfold. But yeah, we've had a very nice day. Went to Nando's. Had Nando's with Jace and Little Max. Went to see Joe. I've seen everybody today. Obviously the lovely Kaz and the very sleepy Eva. Did we have a pillow fight in our underpants? My underpants aren't big enough to have a pillow fight inside them. We'll talk about the member stream on Sunday. Yes. What's my tipple tonight? Unfortunately, both of our tipples tonight is lemonade. Because I don't think Kaz has been to the supermarket yet. The member stream on Sunday. So on Sunday there is what is it? ATS. 9:30 on Sunday. American Truck Sim. Yep, all in chat, and basically it's after the England game, so you can either come in deliriously happy or come in to let a bit of steam off. Yeah, we had a quick read of Looking magazine. Have a look in the cartoons to see what Dick Turpin was up to. Matt, do me a favour and watch Chris racing Blaster. That is not a problem. How close are they? 3 seconds between them. I mean, there's Blaster, and Chris is only just coming into view. There he is, going down Paddock Hill. So they're not too close. We'll leave those on screen for a sec. If you've got any requests for people you want to see, just pop them in chat, and I'll get them on the screen. Just like DJ Ken did there. Nice to see you, Ken. It is close. Chris is gaining. Again, this could be down to tyre management. Nice bit of flames coming out the back of Chris's the backside. I think after we won't have any chance of seeing flames come out of Jason's backside. Not if you start messing about with just medium sauce at Nando's. No chance. We'll probably win on Sunday. Football talk. England have never lost to an African team in the World Cup, so it's a very good chance. And to be honest, from what I've seen of Senegal, they don't look particularly good. Certainly not as good as some of the African teams like Morocco, who look very strong. So I think England have got a very good chance of winning on Sunday. And then yes, our usual, what is now traditional quarter-final exit is probably on the cards. Can we play Christmas tunes? Well, it is actually December the 2nd, isn't it? If we put the Christmas tunes on, we'd never see Codus ever again. Is that when 2 or more source seekers? Who does that? I mean, I'm strictly, my minimum Nando's sauce is hot. It's only very hot on special occasions. Weddings, bar mitzvahs, all that sort of stuff, but hot was alright. Codus who? Oh, pugwash. Ooh, saucer of milk for table pugwash. Codus who? Good. Codus is one of these guys who normally lurks, so he'll come in here and he'll start throwing the slack down. This needs to become a regular thing, you two, says Jason. We were actually thinking of cementing our relationship into a civil partnership. Although we're both married, that could be a bit tricky, but it's something we're looking into, so we'll get back to you on that, Jason. No, what I was looking into earlier, that wasn't what I was looking into. Exactly. Jason's much more of a casual lover with me, so it's very gentle, quite rough hands, but he's much more of a casual relationship kind of guy. He won't even phone me for a few weeks now. It's shocking. Am I thinking of moving in? I don't need to. I've got CCTV cameras placed all around the house. I know exactly what's going on at any time. Quite interesting news this week, quite exciting news coming up, is Jason is releasing a sex tape on Tuesday. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be the main thing in a sex tape. It's coming Tuesday.
Is that what it's called?
Coming Tuesday, yeah. I could marry both of us in America. I don't think you're allowed to actually marry yourself, but it's our first date. Oh, actually, no. What's Max doing? I think Max is upstairs. Yeah, Max is not playing the PlayStation because it's by my foot at the moment. So Max is sitting there holding a controller and weeping. Oh, Mark's in the middle of the track. Out of the way, Marky. Everybody thundering past. Firebolt's catching up to Chris. If Firebolt's catching up to Chris, where was Jason? Because Jason was behind Chris, but now Firebolt was behind Chris. So Jason's... Oh, is he? All right. I was going to say, I think Jason may have done something very quietly in the background, but decided to gloss over it. No? Who is close at the moment? Not. So actually, in terms of race positions, well, is it going to change now they go over the timing line? Oh, well, Chris, we know his lap's down, so... Oh no, Chris's lap's down, it's Mark whose lap's down. Let's get behind Firebolt for a bit and see how he deals with Chris. Again, should be just setting it up, making sure he's nice and close coming out of one of the corners where he can get a good run, maybe then sneak up the inside. I find if you're going to try and outbrake people at Brands Hatch, your best place to do that is in Surtees, which is turn 4. Because generally speaking, people do have to take quite a wide entry to line themselves up so they get a good run down Hawthorne Hill. But those it's an excellent spot where you can just quickly get on the inside, sort of block the apex, and it takes all the momentum away from the person who was planning to go wide and then cut in. So if you are getting fast into corners, then Surtees is a good place to do it, but otherwise you're going to have to look at getting better exits out of Surtees and also out of the Clark Curve. What's the times multiplier? It's on six times. So we did start fairly sort of early morning. Jason's now making excuses for server user error, but he wanted it starting much earlier in the dark. But we're on 6 times. It's 9:04 now. We've been going 35 minutes, and it's gone forward about 4 hours. Oh, that's Firebolt's gone again, but he's kept it out the wall, so again, not a problem. Firebolt's got a bit wide. No, don't go in the fence, Firebolt! Donk. Spoke too soon. Come on, get it going, get it going, get it going. There we go. Watch out, who's coming? Keep your eyes on the relative. There we go. Easy does it. That's better. See, there we go. Look at how Firebolt's coming back on the track there. That is absolutely textbook how you should rejoin the track. Just while Firebolt has a check to see if his car's steering okay or if he's going to come in and get repaired. But that is how you rejoin a track. You wait, you look at what's going on around you, and then you rejoin the track as if you were joining a motorway. You don't. If the track is, let's get into the camera. If the track is there, you don't rejoin like that. You want to rejoin parallel with it. Yes. What happened between Chris and the other guy? Well, Chris has been spinning apparently, so it's unlucky you couldn't avoid him. Maybe some repairs, but again, it's a long race. We're still really just over half an hour, so it's plenty of time. Oh, Mark at the back. I can see why Mark's at the back now. His latency is enormous. So, he's in New Zealand. I see. So the two guys there coming up to Hawthorne Bend, making their way round through Westfield. We were here 3 months ago, almost 2.5 months ago, a group of us for a community meet-up and to watch the British GT, and then Jason decided he was going to take us for a walk in the woods, which made a few of us nervous. But especially when he was plying us with all those Werther's original, it just didn't add up as being a good idea. But it's lovely how much of the track you can walk around at Brands Hatch. You can walk around basically everything up to Stirling's Bend, and then the pathway brings you back out to Druids. But you can see a lot of the track. There's lots of really good vantage points, and the cars are always travelling quickly, so you really get a good sense of speed. And also you're very close to the circuit. You're only about 8 or 9 metres away from the circuit, so you get a really, really good view up close, and the sound. I think what a lot of people they don't really appreciate unless you've been to a racetrack is actually the smell, because racing cars use a very specific type of fuel, and it's very high ethanol, and it has a very specific smell when it burns. And when you finish at the end of the day, the whole place smells of it, and it's really glorious. Ask questions about the games. What better, easy, fun game? Play the base icon. I'm going to be honest, Lachey, I'm not really sure how your question is scanning there. What do you speed the car now? Am I planning on going to Le Mans next year? I'd like to go because it's obviously the big anniversary, but and all the new hypercars. But I don't think I'll be going to Le Mans. What place is Chris in? Chris is in 6th at the moment. What better? Easy, fun game. Play the base icon. Not entirely sure what you mean there, Lachey. What is the fun playing the Game Pass on bus? Maureen, I take it you'll be going, Paul, to see Toyota beaten by Glickenhaus and a Ferrari in this year. Are they starting this year, or is it just going to be Porsche and BMW coming in? We'll dress up in GTUK gear. There's only so much bottomless leather that circuits will allow in, unfortunately, even if it is in France. If you get 6 guys turning up looking like we've been dragged there on our backsides for 25 miles, they just won't let us in. Why is Max not commentating? Cheers, Motive. Thanks very much for the vote of confidence. Max is upstairs. Max is upstairs trying to repair relations with all of the girls from his school that we bumped into at Nando's. He's got to repair his reputation. Going out for lunch with his 2 dads, a dad and Uncle Matt. It's he's got to explain that on Monday, so he's trying to come up with some good excuses. You go to the Speedway. Yeah, Speedway does have a very specific smell still. Nice to see you, Steve. So yes, will you have clothing merch? This is a question which Jason gets asked all the time. Will you have merch? He will at some point. Basically, he still hasn't heard back from Louis Vuitton about the exclusive members line that he's got going. He's got some authentic Gucci steering wheel covers coming, very nice. But he's having a bit of trouble with the import duty at the moment. So once he's got all that out of the way, he was going to have obviously his exclusive line of merch through his usual outlet of Love Honey, but again their rates have gone up, so he's had to leave Love Honey behind. Good evening, Dion. Nice to see you. Van Wall, yeah, Van Wall. That's in R Factor 2. The Van Wall. Haven't driven it yet, so I haven't driven racing in a few weeks. Oh, here's Pete. I've got a GameTech UK T-shirt and mug from back in the day. I've got the most merch. Levi, yeah, denim shorts. Authentic GTUK denim shorts. What's a better car fan? Grey bus or car? Oh, it's so close. I'm just not quite getting the gist of your questions. I'm so sorry, Lishay, because I know that typing sometimes, especially if you're using a phone, can be tricky with autocorrect, and it takes a few goes to get it through. You'll hold us to the Gucci wheel cover. Oh, there'll be something. Oh, I do have the most merch. Suck on that. Ooh, Pete. I've got the most merch. Yeah, but I'm sitting in the game room with the dog. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, some whiskey glasses. Maybe if we had some GTUK, those whiskey little stone ball things that they cool whiskey down, that you put in the freezer, the little balls. There's some GTUK ones of those. This time next year, it could be an empire, basically. When Jason's obviously hit 45,000 fans and his channel is bigger than most, then he'll be able to really get some top quality merch, like branded, his own line of Bugattis. I have his name tattooed on. My name is tattooed on Jason's ass. Well, no. It's the short version of my name is tattooed somewhere, and then under certain circumstances you can see my full name. Is it 9 o'clock yet? The kids gone to bed. We've got 9 minutes. What is happening up the front? Up the front, FaZe is so far ahead, it's unbelievable. Potter and Stu could actually be fairly close. Let's have a look and see where Stu's, because they'll break in the timing line at different times. Stu's not really got... Yeah, Potter's gone through. Stu's not really that close. We're really spread out. Yeah, that's true. A lot of pit stops coming. What are we on? 260. Excuse me. So 45 minutes. Jason needs to get me on a Discord call. Oh, bless you. Phone cases and mugs. That's Lance says that I need to get on a Discord call from now. Phone cases and mugs is Richard Greenwood. Richard Greenwood, aged 13, from Tunbridge Wells. He sent it in on a postcard. Face should be limited to GT4 cars. Well, I'm not really sure. You must be able to do it with the PlayStation servers, but on the PC servers you can actually impose individual balance of performance penalties and ballast, and you can also reduce their engine power quite a lot. But we wouldn't do that. I mean, FaZe is a good driver. He's, you know, what's the point? Cosmic Wazza's got a stop-go 30. Was that speeding in the pits, Wazza? In fact, that's the first stop-go penalty we've had, and we are 45 minutes in. So that is usually you get a couple at the start for not being in the correct position on the grid when you go. Now, I don't know if you can't really tell because it's only occupying a quarter screen, but Jace's new wheel, it's got so many little flashy, I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen, it's got so many flashy LEDs on it. It covers flags, it covers, you can see on the side the two ones there, they show traction going. You'll get notified when there's flags. It's a very, very, very clever wheel. It does show an awful lot of information. If FaZe wins, his prize is basically we remove 2 of his wheels. So 6 seconds, 5 seconds. This is really the closest we've got is Jace and Chris at the moment. Certainly across the timing line. There they are. And not anymore because, again, Chris is doing a Joker lap. Maybe time for some new tyres. Don't forget Wazza. Got to serve that penalty within 3 laps. Otherwise you get disqualified, and that would be a real gutter to get disqualified in a 3-hour race. Mark's plugging away at it. Keep going, Mark. You're doing great, gun son.
Yeah, Mark plays that.
Yeah, it's fair play. Must be really difficult. I mean, just in general, because obviously being that far removed on the planet is tricky to get a good signal. I mean, iRacing have got special Australian servers for their supercars series because the Aussies love their supercars, but everybody else, if you in Australia or New Zealand, you're really disadvantaged because nobody else, unless obviously you've got local racing leagues, nobody else really has special servers set up down that far down on the planet. You right there, Eva? You losing your blankie? You're okay. She's a good girl. There we go. Cameroon are 1 up in the 94th minute, so there's only, if they're in the 94th minute, there's only about another 25 minutes of stoppage time left to play. How many at the moment? We've got 122. How many likes? I don't know how many likes we've got, but let's start whacking that like button if you've just got here. Rangers, hey, how's it going, Rangers? Nice to see you. Well, Karma, wooden tables can handle a direct drive, especially like the lower powered ones like the DD Pro that Jason's got, or the CSL DD, or the Moser R5, the new the Logitech's got a table clamp that comes with it, and also well, the new Thrustmaster is PC only, and I know you do PC and PlayStation, so it's probably not for you, but yeah, it should be able to fast onto a table. I've certainly known people who've had direct drives on a desk and they've said the clamps have worked fine. I mean, if your desk is 50 years old and from IKEA and everything's falling to bits, then you might have trouble. But generally speaking, you should be fine. Chris on a few wheels on the grass as well, trying to work out a good strategy for taking. See, Jason's up to 5th. He's yet to pit. I mentioned it won't be too long before Jason comes in. The like button is whacked. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Trite. Nice to see you. Yeah, we're all good. We've got 122 likes. So we're roughly level pegging. We've dropped a couple of viewers. That's okay. Obviously, they thought that they tuned in and Jason's got mumps. But no, it is me. The camera adds £10. I've got 3 cameras on me at the moment.
This is cool, isn't it?
It is cool, yeah. It is. And the goal scorer got a red card. Oh, he doesn't like getting a card at Christmas. It's lovely.
Is the chat, do you mean what you set up?
Pretty much, yeah. Let's have a quick straw poll while I have a little sip of this delicious lemonade. What do you think of this arrangement? So obviously we've got the 4 screens, but are you finding that this is, you know, conducive to good entertainment, to have somebody sitting here and, you know, dog cam?
Because it isn't just me then, is it? It's everyone.
Yeah, exactly. He took his shirt off and got sent off. Obviously that's not Jace, thank God. David Rayner goes, rubbish! That's okay. I think it's great, says Mel. You're quite right, Pete. I'm sure we will be very happy together. He did actually ask me if I wanted to go to bed tonight, but I've got to be up quite early in the morning. So even though I'm going to be getting, cause it's what people might not realise is it actually takes me about an hour and a half to drive from my place to here, even going as fast as I can, because, you know, I've just got to get here so quick so I can be back in his arms. But he did offer to bed me tonight, but I said that's okay. I've got to be up fairly early in the morning to take my son out to. He volunteers at a local tennis club as part of Duke of Edinburgh, so I've got to be up early. My wife has a problem with her ear; she can't pick it up off the pillow, so I've got to take Jack out in the morning. So I need to be home fairly early, but I can get home at 1:30 in the morning. It's all right. It's not a school night. Smurfin's enjoying it. Nadim wants to race himself. Jordan says, looks good fun so far. Jason can concentrate more. Yes, this is really the reason. And he has put in a lot of practice today. So, exactly. And there's Chris, race commentator, sitting beside the racer. Hi, Chris. Nice to see you. Welcome. Definitely makes the stream more unique. Cheers, PJ. Michael says, love it. Jerome loves the format. Yeah, I think basically we can say that this is a success. Same time next week. If Ant and Dec ever retire, we could replace them. That's good. Jace or Matt. Question is, what's your opinion on the new chair? The new chair is nice, obviously. It only was erected, as I believe is the correct word in this house, yesterday. So it hasn't really had a heavy soiling so far. So it's quite nice. I haven't stuck to it when I stood up. It's got lots of lovely cushions. We've got, these are good. Now in the I can't remember who it was in the comments to the video of the chair. Somebody said, Jason will remember, about that they want padded armrests. Now Jace has got these. Now I'd love to know what he used to use these for, because they're a very particular curve. They've got a very particular sort of, you know, entry thing. Very. They're very, let's just say, you know, he's had them a while. They've got a lot of use. But he's got these over the armrests, and it makes them very comfy. The armrests on their own, they are quite sort of tough and plasticky. But this is good. So we've got these sort of armrest slippers that GT Amiga sell those. So GT Amiga armrest slippers on a next level racing chair. It's all good. Very nice. Just very nice quality. Good stitching. Lovely stuff. Are they from Tenor? Yeah. I think the right one's from Tenor. I'm getting a bit of sort of moisture on my right elbow. You should get matching. Oh, actually, because Jace's wheel is Alcantara. So while you're talking about gloves, yes, I did actually bring the gloves I use when I'm driving. In fact, if John Vorter's still here, these are the same gloves that John Vorter uses. So Jace recommends those Sparcos. I recommend these Sparcos. They're Sparco Mecha 3. They're usually used by mechanics in motorsport garages. They've got like a nice Alcantara front, polyester back. They're really nice length. Jason loves a nice length on a glove. And this is a perfect length. He was saying earlier that I had a perfect length. So, yep, just comes to the wrist. I've cut off the wrist attachment because the Velcro has a tendency to bobble the polyester. But they're a really nice fit, and they're really cheap. They're about £30. So, goodness me, we are shilling our lives away on this stream. Is there anybody else? Ferrari make lovely motor cars. If you're thinking about buying a Ferrari, buy a Ferrari. They're nice. Porsche. I've been out in the Porsche today. First time ever for me in a Porsche. Jace was doing donuts and wheel spins in the multi-story. He's such a big show-off. Ironically, all the bays in the multi-story car park make it look a lot like Paul Ricard. So I think that's why he secretly is a Paul Ricard fan, because it reminds him of his local multi-story. And for those of you who are fans on Train Sim, it is very accurately portrayed, the area around his station that he sometimes goes to on stream. They've done a very good job with that. So yes, Richard's got a GT Omega chair. They're nice. Pete, you should do some racing. Yes, you should, Pete. He's kept the gloves, doesn't do any racing anymore. You don't race anymore, Pete, why not? Tell us a story about why you don't race. I'm not racing at the moment because I just fancy doing something different. I'm looking at space games like Elite and Star Citizen. I've also installed No Man's Sky, because that's had some big updates lately, and I might have a look at that. But I found the first time I played No Man's Sky on the PlayStation, it was just, aim your scanner at rocks and mine for 10 hours until you had enough to make a key to open your spaceship. So, but I might go back to it and have a go on that. Can we have a race summary and update? Of course you can, Raki. Let's have a look and see how people are getting on. So, in the lead, 38 laps, we've got FaZe. FaZe has lapped people. That's spur time behind him. So yes, FaZe is there, 38 laps in, hasn't put a foot wrong. He's pretty much on autopilot. Potter, in his little purple one, it's shiny little purple Potter in second. Not too far behind, really. 16 seconds, we have Stu in his lovely Audi R8, my favourite cars in the GT world. And behind that we've got, well, we don't want to pay attention to that. Instead we'll go straight to Chris. Chris is doing well, another McLaren. Behind that, Rusty, still plugging away in his Bentley. I never raced the Bentley, just out of principle, basically. Spur time is a couple of laps down, but he has been in the pits. He has had to repair some damage. Again, we've got 2 hours left. We're only a third of the way through. Plenty of time for people to come off. Then we've got another lap back. We've got Firebolt. As soon as the camera finds him, there he goes in his Beamer. He has also had damage to repair. We've got Wazza behind him. Kiwi Mark still plugging away. Fair play. Mark is, as we know, he's obviously got a massive latency issue being down all the way in New Zealand, but he always comes along, always races, always does it fair, always looks out for everybody as well. So thank you very much, Mark. This is the point where now we get the pit stops coming in. This is the point where everything starts to get a little bit fragmented and people are out of position on the track. So Chris is just behind him. Oh, here comes FaZe. FaZe is about to lap Chris. So FaZe is basically lapped everybody up to 5th so far. I think he'll never lap Jace. How long left? We've got 2 hours and 2 minutes left, Richard. If you look at the split screen, Jason's in top left. That's his cockpit cam. You can see at the top of the screen there it says the countdown for how much longer there is in the race. We're now up to 11:23 a.m. So it's nearly lunchtime at Brands Hatch. Evening, Cyber. Nice to see you. Shout to Potter and Chris. Yeah, Potter and Chris are doing well. But now everybody's going to be coming to pits and coming out not in the position they're in. So you've got to be very mindful of who's in front and who's behind and where they actually are in terms of the net race positions. Are we doing stints? Unfortunately, no. We're not a two-driver team. Jace is embedding himself. He's immersing himself entirely, 100% in this. Currently in 4th.
We could do that next time.
We could do. Pug forgot there was a race. Come on, Pug. Still got the rig set up here, to be honest. Pete misses it. Pete misses it. He's going to be racing again soon. I can feel it. He's practically admitted it. Are we looking forward to the new tracks in F1 next year? China and Vegas. Well, if China's back in F1 next year, it's going to be the regular China track, which I find personally a little bit uninspiring. I'm not looking forward to Vegas at all. I mean, to be fair, I'm a very casual Formula One fan. Jason's just started getting into it. I'm a very... You're still at the casual stage. I mean, Jason's gone past the phase of going, oh, pretty blue car, who's the red car, etc. He knows the team names now. But China is cancelled. Oh yeah, China's got COVID again, isn't it? So never mind. But yeah, Paul Ricard, that's a good circuit. Stick it down there. It's not being used. But Vegas, America, as I was saying this, I think half an hour ago. America has got lots of really good tracks already in existence. Road America, Watkins Glen, Sebring. Even if you want a couple of good street tracks, Formula One hasn't been to. Oh, Chris is off again. Come on, Chris, get back on. Then you've got Long Beach. Very, very, very tight last turn, but Long Beach is tried and tested. Does very well with IndyCar. And you've also got Detroit Belle Isle. That's very bumpy, brutally unforgiving. Both Long Beach and Detroit Belle Isle, because the walls are right. There's no runoff. Basically, it's walls or track. So you've really got to stay where you are. Might not suit, some of the more aggressive drivers on the track to not have all that space. Jers wants it back at Portimao. Yeah, Portimao's a lovely track. Obviously, it was there. Was it last year or a couple of years ago when they had all the races behind locked doors? That was at Portimao. That was a really good race. Good track, Portimao. F1 has been on Long Beach in the 70s. Yep. When they couldn't make their mind up where to hold the race every year. It was somewhere different, wasn't it? Get them back in Birmingham. Get them going around Birmingham Town Centre. Scary Guy for you too. Nice to see Scary Guy. Baz has been watching it for 49 years. Have a break, Baz. Go to the toilet or do something. There's other channels. Bring back Germany. Nürburgring or Hockenheim, Scary Guy. Even ELO played Long Beach. Exactly, Pug. Everybody's done Long Beach. Hockenheim's a bit of a short track though. When the faster cars, Hockenheim. Yeah, Hockenheim's all right. I prefer Hockenheim at the slower cars. If you're looking at personally, and this is just purely a personal thing, I prefer tracks that have a longer lap time. I love tracks like Silverstone, but the thing that annoys me about Silverstone is the lap time there is what, 1:15 or something, around 1:20. Anything where the lap time is under 90 seconds, I think you want to extend it a bit. I like the bigger tracks like Spa. That's why I like Sebring. Sebring's a 2-minute track, and GT3 Road America's a 2-minute track on GT3. Spa it's not a great track personally. Spa, it's actually much more complicated than people think it is. But the longer lap times, if you have the shorter lap times, places like this is one of the worst for it, Red Bull Ring. Red Bull Ring is such a tight, compact circuit. You're lapping people 3 or 4 or 5 times, and F1 that's not really a good look. So we should do Fuji. Well, Fuji's all right, but it's the last sector. The last sector in Fuji is a nightmare. It's just the first bit's nice, and then it goes a bit. It's like they were building it and they lost the plans. They didn't know where to join the roads up. It just looks a bit weird. Nordschleife. I hate the Nordschleife. I'm in the camp of. I don't like the Nordschleife as a racetrack. Might be a nice track to hot lap, bit of a challenge. But as far as actually racing goes, I'm not a fan of the Nordschleife. You can't really race properly on it. It's not wide enough, basically. It's just an old public road. I'm too young for when F1 raced some of these tracks, Karma. I mean, Monaco you can overtake. You can't even overtake in the pits. It's too tight, as Charles Leclerc found out. Monaco's a horrible track. That's on there purely for the money and the prestige. But again, Monaco, I'd like to see Monaco go, frankly. I mean, as well, we had this year, sorry to go into F1 rant mode for a bit, but this year we've got Max Verstappen, who's got the most number of wins in a season with, 16 now, is it went up to in the end? Hi Carl, nice to see you. They didn't even used to race 16 tracks back in the 80s, so to have this as a record, it seems a bit, disingenuous, because all the classic drivers like Senna and Prost never really had a chance to get 16 wins because they only raced 15, 16 tracks. British Ace, nice to see you, Joe. British Ace is here. Can I go through the field? So we have in the lead, we've got FaZe. Stu is now in second because of Potter coming into the pits. Then we've got someone, don't know who he is, new to the community, some don't kind of pronounce that. Then we've got Chris. Chris is really plugging away well. Spur time is right behind Chris, although he's on track, but not actually in terms of race position. We have Potter basically should be in between those two cars if they were on the same lap. Then Rusty is behind Spur time. Where's shiny little purple Potter? There he is coming on Druids. Rusty Junior. Oh, Rusty Middle, isn't it really?
Yeah.
Middle Rusty. There's Rusty in his Bentley. Oh, and there goes Spur time again. No, I say looked in his mirror, thought it was Jason, panicked, but Jason was nowhere to be found this time. So there might be more repairs for Spur time. So we've clocked over the 1 hour slot at the moment. Jason is in third. You haven't come in yet, have you?
No.
Cool. Rusty is a GT UK racing legend. You're absolutely right, Pete. Hamilton do one more season, then that would be it. What do I think? Personally, I mean, obviously he's one title away from being the outright all-time titles leader. It's a lot harder to win it compared to 2008 when he won his first one. It's a lot harder to win the title now because there's another 200 races every year, and you've got much younger drivers coming through. So personally, I think if I was Lewis Hamilton, I'd have retired after he won his 7th, when they were changing the regulations onto the new cars, because there was no guarantee that Mercedes were going to be all conquering. That would have been a very nice time, very clean time to say, thanks very much, I'll stop now while I'm ahead. And everybody, and there was actually that period we didn't know if he was going to race, did we? Because he had that sabbatical, went completely off the grid, where him and Angela went into some shack somewhere to do some ab work. But I think he should have retired by now anyway, just to not prolong it. I mean, it's very nice to be, I'm sure, in Formula One in your 30s, but you see all the young drivers coming through, and ultimately as well. Formula One is not one of those series where you've got new drivers who qualify for it every year. Oh, Rusty's on a bit of a slide. He's kept it. Good lad. You've got these new drivers coming through every year, and there's no place for them. And then you've got, on the other end of the coin, you've got drivers like Roy Nissany, who's going to be in Formula 2 till he's 65 years old. They should move to touring cars at 35. Well, I think they should. Look at Fisichella. Fisichella is now, what, 52, 53? And although he looks about 12 still, there's obviously a painting of Fisichella somewhere with loads of wrinkles. But, hello, Elgarth, nice to see you. I think that... Who's in front? Chris M is in front. Yeah, you've got your relatives, haven't you? So, yeah, Chris is in front of Jason, so he should have blue flags being waved. But I think they should go into GT cars. What is interesting as well, you've got Jamie Chadwick, who's making the jump into Indy Lights, which is the feeder series for Indy cars next year. So it'd be interesting to see how she gets on there. Oh, Cosmic Waz has gone off. It's tough out there, Cosmic. Keep going, though. Keep at it, dudes. You know, big respect to all these drivers, because everybody now, I think FaZe is only 25 seconds away from lapping himself. So everybody who's getting lapped by FaZe, they just keep going. I mean, to be honest, FaZe could park up, take his dog for a walk, maybe wash his car, cook a light meal. something a bit heavier than a pot noodle, but yeah, not like a roast chicken. He can maybe do a stir fry, and he could jump back in the car. He could do chicken in the air fryer, yeah. Yeah, but well, my wife has bought a second air fryer now, so we're a two air fryer family. You know, we have to have armed guards everywhere we go in our village in case any of the riffraff try and jump us for our air fryers. But a decent ready meal, maybe a nice ramen or something. Para's a Jamie Chadwick fan. Hands above the covers, Para. Not bad. Some not bad racing this, Spaghetti. You're quite right there, Spaghetti. Nice to see you. Look at all these members badges as well. So a big thank you for the members. There's been so many. I mean, it's almost like there was there could have been a Black Friday sale. They were flying out the door that fast. Philips air fryers. No, we've got a Ninja. We've got a Ninja Foodie is the main one. Ninja the Streamer. Is he an air fryer as well? Wow. We've got a big air fryer. It's a multi-cooker, so it slow cooks and does pressure cooking. That's the Ninja Foodie. And then I've got one of those dual zone ones with the 2 trays. How's Jason liking the wheel? I think he loves it, yeah. He loves it, loves it, loves it. He's loving it like that. Here comes Rusty, right up Jason's tushy. Rusty is behind you in net terms, so no blue flag. I mean, it's a Bentley, so if you don't let him pass, he's just going to drive straight over the top of you like a Sherman tank anyway. Ninja make go. I mean, we've got a lot of Ninja stuff. We've got a Ninja food processor, a Ninja juicer. So I've got more Ninjas than an 80s American crossover action film. How is it compared to the GT3 wheel? Smaller. The rim is about either 27 or 28 centimetres diameter. The McLaren is slightly bigger at 30. It's nice. Some people don't like a small wheel. I quite like a small wheel. It really, I think it's in the mind. But when you've got a smaller wheel and you're sort of gripping it closer, your arms are closer, so your sort of muscular setup is stronger. It feels stronger because your arms are closer together. So you actually feel like you've got a better grip on the wheel and you've got a much better, tighter control on it. Jason does not want to let Rusty past. In your face, Rusty, says Jason. It's alright, Rusty, he'll come off in a minute. In fact, he's due to pit stop in a second, Rusty, so just sit tight behind him. He's got to come in soon. What's oh, he's still got 10 laps. He's still got 10 laps in his fuel. Holy mackerel! I think he's going to have to go to the stewards afterwards and see if they can find that secret fuel tank that Benetton used to run. Was it Benetton? The secret fuel tank. Cyber's bought an air fryer. Air fryers are great. If you haven't got an air fryer, they're really good. Especially the one we've got, the multi-food one that does the slow cooking and that. They're great because it replaces 4 or 5 other kitchen items. But you can do a whole roast chicken in the air fryer in like 40 minutes. That's lovely and crispy. Chicken wings, 10 minutes. Sausage. I do fry-ups in the air fryer. In 8 minutes, I've done all the bacon, all the sausages. They're lovely and lovely texture, lovely crispiness, nice and juicy. Any closer and Jace will have a rusty bullet wound. I think any closer and Jason and Rusty are going to have to get married. Oh, Rusty's gone a bit wide. Jason says, thanks very much. I'll have that back. Rusty says a rude word. They're great. Honestly, if you haven't got an air fryer, just go and check them out. Obviously, they're the must-have thing at the moment, so everybody's trying to get them. But they're really good. You don't have to. You can get a single tray one, a single bucket one, like a 5 litre capacity, which is good enough for a medium chicken to roast. You can get them for under 100 quid. You're looking to get the Thrustmaster SF1000 wheel add-on. I have that add-on. So's Max upstairs, but he ain't playing it tonight. I've got the add-on. It's a lovely wheel. I don't use I was saying this to Jason earlier, I don't use the display on the front. I'm not a driver who looks at their display for information. I tend to look on the dashboard in front of me, or to be honest, it's in my head. So I know when my pit stop's going to be due. I know roughly what my pressure should be if I'm on a Assetto Corsa, so I don't need the constant update. The only time I would have it turned on is when it gets to the optimum change point, the LEDs flash a light blue. So as a peripheral vision indicator, that's really helpful. But I tend to just drive the same few cars, so I kind of know when to change anyway. So it's a lovely wheel, nicely made. Again, quite hard to get hold of, but yeah, I'm really sort of impressed with the SF1000. Is it a cooking stream? It's a bit of everything, Joshua. You know, a bit of everything. We've done racing. Now's the cooking segment. Later on, we'll be reading out your birthdays. If you've sent in a card with it's your birthday this week, we'll read it out, and Eva will beat out how old you are with her paw, because she's a good girl. Fast asleep with one eye open. To be honest, if I was sleeping next to Jason, I'd have one eye open at the very least. Yes. If we send a card in, Jason will just... Do you know what, actually...
Please say if you send a card in, I'll chuck it at work.
You chuck it in the bin, yeah. Has he got previous for that?
No, your card's still up there.
He doesn't chuck all of his cards away. Sometimes you send him a card and it gets here. And he puts it on prime display on top of his arcade cabinet.
Because I knew you would.
Because he loves me. I'm sure actually there was a couple of tea bag stains on there and a bit of old onion ring that he's had to scrape off when he fished it out of the bin. But apart from that, it's all looking good. So yeah, have you sent him a card before then, Pete? Was there an Amazon voucher? He did say that as soon as he got the card, before he read it, he did open it up and give it a good flap, see if anything fell out. He does keep cards. Oh, now Pete is really annoyed that you don't throw all the air cards in the bin. We'll get a large air fryer for when the grandkids turn up. You won't be able to fit them in the air fryer. They don't come that large. I mean, your grandkids might be really small, but you'll never fit them in. Baz has got an SF1000, loves it. But yeah, Jay should get a PO box for any person. And you can all send your cards in for requests, for things to be read out. It's like Gus Honeybun in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, Angry from Tunbridge Wells, that Pete. Air fryers are cheap to run. They do use quite a bit of power, like boiling a kettle, but they're on for so much shorter than your oven. They do work out cheaper in the long term. Okay, Jason wants a round of applause from everybody in chat for currently being in second, over a lap down to the leader. Would bring back Swap Shop. I like Swap Shop. See, now everybody's starting to stretch out. It's hard to know who's close to each other or what. Let's have a look at shiny little purple Potter. He's on his own. Stu, lovely Aldi, he's on his own. Chris, making his way around Druids, he's on his own. Rusty, Rusty and Chris are fairly close. They're a couple of seconds apart. On track, and behind. Spur time on the track is there. So who was behind Rusty? I think that must have been Mark. No, it wasn't Mark. Who else is in the McLaren? Oh, it could have been Jason, actually. It is Jason. So Jason's just behind Rusty. Let's go back to Rusty. When Jason gets up alongside, he's going to wind down the window and shout out, "I'm in second, you know." My wife just bought a hot water dispenser. A hot water... That's a kettle, isn't it? Swap shop, yeah. Colonel's got an old mouse and he's looking to swap for a racing rig. So if any of you kids out there have got a racing rig, you don't need... who needed a mouse earlier? Was it Pete? I think Pete needed a mouse. So Pete, and you've got a racing rig and you're not racing. This is just so perfect. So Pete, you send your racing rig to Colonel and you can get the mouse back. Michael Kelly, thank you very much for becoming a member.
Oh, thank you.
Job done, exactly, Colonel. You see, we bring together not only lonely hearts, but extraneous pieces of unused equipment. Teasemaids were ahead of their time. Teasemaids who didn't have, or whose parents, for those younger in the chat, whose parents didn't have a goblin teasemaid sitting by the side of the bed with that really annoying buzzer when it went off. Any plans to host a Tony Hart style gallery segment? You never know. Again, with a PO box, you can send in your pictures of Jace or Eva or me, and you could have them up on the wall. There's so much space on the wall. You could have the best picture every week up on the wall. It'd be lovely. And you could win a signed photo of Jason to put on your wall. Or if you're Pete, in your bin. All we need now is Maggie Philbin. Maggie Philbin or Sarah Green? Are we going for Swap Shop or Saturday Superstore? Just got an old school kettle with classic Tetley tea bags. Hopefully they're brand new tea bags, Karma, not actually old 70s that people have fished out of a bin. Jason's Go Faster slippers are just behind me. Rusty has...
Hey, Chris.
Rusty's got his engine going.
I think Chris is involved as well.
Chris is still going. He looks... damage-wise, he looks alright. Let's bring him up on the big screen. Don't know if Rusty's trying to... I say unlap himself. I mean, he's behind him in net position, but it never tells you too much once you start getting lapped.
Yeah, it just goes blue.
Oh, it just goes blank. RFAX 2 is bad at that. Once you've been lapped by the leading cars, and when you're looking at multi-class, so if you've got LMPs at the front and the GT3s, once the LMPs have gone through the GT3s once, on the standings it just says +1 lap. It doesn't tell you how far you are behind the guy in front. So that's a really iffy bit of RFAX 2, is its timings aren't great on display. I mean, Chris's car looks fine, so I don't know if Chris had a moment and Rusty was unlucky. Rusty's still sitting there. Rusty is contemplating what to do in life. He's on the pit exit, so if anybody's coming in, here comes Chris M. If anybody in the pits is coming out, here comes Jason. Let's go back to Jason. I'm in second, GameTech, because he's going to be... he's not far behind Chris M. Jason has decided he's had enough of owning all you noobs, apart from FaZe, and he's going to pit in a minute. Doesn't need to, but he's going to pit in a minute just to make it fair. A little round of applause. Rusty is parked up so he can make a start on his drawing of Jason. Oh.
Is Rusty not moving?
Wasn't a second ago. He's not showing a pit marker. He's still there on the end. Come on, Rusty. Fire it up. His bonnet's up. He's not actually standing by it looking under it, but his bonnet is up. Come on, Rusty. Little shiny purple Potter, still going. Oh, phases coming up on the back of Firebolt. There's going to be blue flags aplenty. And Firebolt moves over, gets his tyres in the grass, but he's okay. And now, FaZe is coming up on spur time. So, FaZe is going to be putting some more laps. Any chance to see the wheel and in-game settings being used? Not at the moment. I mean, that's sort of only something you'd be able to see out of the race. and it's all standard. Jason doesn't really tend to tinker with things like force feedback settings. They're all as the game loads in. Here comes FaZe. Coming down to Surtees. FaZe is just taking his time, looking to pass on the straight. Blue flags are being waved. I mean, to be honest, it's not as if FaZe is under pressure from anybody in the same time zone. But we've got blue flags being waved there, spur time. Try and find a safe spot on a straight, do a micro lift, just take your foot off the pedal, then put it straight back on. And that, all at Jace is in the pits. It's going to touch up his mascara. But yeah, when you get on a straight, just let your foot off the accelerator, then put it straight back on. That will make sufficient slowing of your car to allow the faster one to pass. You won't lose positions. Here we go. FaZe is coming up the inside, and here comes Mark. Depends how much fuel you put on, but I mean, FaZe has gone round again, so you're 2 laps down. Potter's just retaken you. It's all right because Potter's got to make a stop sooner than you have. Shiny purple Potter. That was a good stint. That was a really good stint, in fact. Are you changing tyres as well?
Yeah.
Are you doing everything? Okay.
Yeah, because that's it. I'm going to stay out there.
Oh, for the rest of the race? Really? It's not gonna last. We've got 1:34 left. You want it to be less than 1:34 to go. So if you stay out for the same stint now, you'll basically run out of fuel with 2 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go. Have a little splash and dash at the end. Oh, we're at 50 years old, you know, that's a common occurrence.
Come on, fucking fifth.
He's sliding down, but you're going to make one more stop, so that might work out in your favour.
Probably everyone else will only make one more.
I mean, spur time is nearly a whole lap behind you at this point, so you got 7 seconds, you're going to be straight out. Yep. Here we go. He's back on it. Boom, boom, boom. Bish, bash, bosh. Rusty was lapping and got turned into major damage. He's retiring the car. Sad face.
Can he move it out of King Roy then, please?
Is there any chance... Have you removed it from the track, Rusty?
Because it's still there.
Because on the screens, we've still got it as on the track in the pit exit. What do you do as a car setup? Jace does actually have a setup for this race. Rusty's pulling over to the side of the track. You won't be able to get out now though, Rusty, because you put your door up against the fence.
If you just go return to garage,
Yeah, you can return to garage and get towed. I think you'll have a job to... If it's got that much damage, you'll have a job to get it back under your own steam. Down the hill. But setups, yeah, Jace is using a setup for this race, which explains his hitherto never seen before speed. Here's little Joe. Hello, little Joe. Oh look, little Joe's brought a drinky. You sure? I'll bring it over. Oh. I'll have it. Thank you very much. The lovely little Joe is here. How was your meal? Nice. Nice. I keep knocking that PlayStation with my knee. I've got to be careful because I don't want to end this stream before it's time. Oh, it's only Max's PlayStation, so ultimately... But there we go. Potter's up Jason's chuff. In terms of track position, possibly at the moment he should be well ahead of Jason on track. Potter. Oh no, there he is. He's actually behind you on track.
yeah, he's second.
Oh, that's okay. So Jason's got his pit strategy is basically hoping to put him back in there. He's looking to make one long pit stop less than everybody else. We were talking earlier about things like fuel maps. Hello, the lovely Kaz is here. But why wouldn't she be? It's her house. That's all right. Jason was second at one point. At one point, I had to add that, and I think you spotted it. So I didn't want to hurt his feelings, but I think he'll probably finish second because the way the pit stops are working out, he's a master strategist. But yeah, I kept a straight face, sort of, when I said that. I've got my card. Thank you very much. Very nice. Thank you very much. Shame, guys. Yep. Nice to see you, Rusty. Just stick around, Rusty. Stick around. Get little Junior Rusty on your knee. Bounce him up and down a bit. In fact, if he's not, I don't know what your dad's like, but get Junior and Senior Rusty, one on each knee, all three of you bouncing up and down, watching the stream. Make it a nice family event. Unless, of course, little... I see what you did there, Ken. Obviously, little Rusty might need to go to bed. Good night, Pete. Pete's off for his beauty sleep.
Keep it up.
Night, Pete, says Jace. Have you got a nice little comfy bed like Eva's got? Hello, Eva. What a good girl. Ken is asking you, how's the weather back there, Jace?
I was second a minute ago.
Second a minute ago, apparently.
Let's see how we end up.
Yeah, I think Jace will come second in this. I'm making a bold prediction now. Jace will be second. FaZe will be only about 8 laps ahead. But
I don't think I'm going to be second.
I think he'll be second. I think you've got a good. I think you've put a lot of planning into this, and well, you have. You've put a lot of practice in. You've got yourself a setup. I think there's a very good chance that you'll finish second. He's going to have a, as the kids say, he's got a giga strat. Has Jace got the audio coming through the TV? Yes, it is. He's got it coming through the speakers. Fairly quiet. I can't hear it, but I've got these cans on anyway. The edge of this is broken. These are Turtle Beach, and the edge of this broke earlier. And Jason was.
What's happening here?
Who's off now? Is that Firebolt?
Yeah, no, I've got spur time in front of me.
Spur time's in front of you.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back to the good old days. Yeah, Firebolt's gone into the pits. Okay, so spur time's in front. You are. That is 4 position. That is 4 position.
Yeah.
So let's go to spur. Let's go to spur time. There we go. Because spur time came in to have damage repaired. Yeah, Giga Strat Karma. It's Giga. Everything's Giga for kids. I mean, we had Giga years ago, but we've got to make sure these little Gen Z millennials think they've done something good. So you can have Giga Strat. But yeah, Jace has put a lot of practice in for this, and he's looked at his stuff. We're not quite. We were talking earlier. We're not quite at the stage where we're playing around with the fuel maps, because the fuel maps in this game do make a big difference. But you have to look them up first, because they're not listed anywhere in the Assetto Corsa documentation. So if you look up on the internet what the different fuel maps are for the car and assign a rotary or something to them, you can actually end up saving a lot of fuel. I'm not sure if John Vorter is still here. It's lights out and away we go. No night, Joe. You're off to beddy buys. Oh, bless. Joe's going to bed for an early night.
Oh, is it?
Well, he says it's lights out and away we go. So I'm assuming he's going to bed,
Yeah.
basically. There we go. But yeah, I don't know if John Vorter's here, but John did an endurance race, and he had very good help from our friend Marcus, who was keeping an eye on sort of the engineer side of things for him, and they utilised the different fuel maps on the engine perfectly, and he ended up doing at least 1.5 to 2 pit stops less than the guy behind him, which enabled him to get track position. So fuel maps are the next thing you need to look at in this. I know Crofty says it, Joe, but I thought you might be off to beddy buys because it's quite late. It's 20 to 10. Oh, but he's got to take Max out tomorrow to see the flashy cars. Is there nothing on TV, Joe? I mean, you're in the same house. You could literally come and sit on this stool next to me. It'd be like an acoustic MTV, or you don't watch MTV, you're in your 20s. It could be like an unplugged acoustic O2 set. Did you get those wheels for your F-Type, Joe? Wheels for his F-Type?
Oh, come on.
Oh, it's spur time. It's tradition.
No, but come on, spur time will tell you.
He was parking on the apex there.
Yeah, it was totally procrastinating.
And Potter, little shiny purple Potter, up the inside. Look at this. This is nice.
Oh shit, is it got a blue flag in there?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll let it pass.
There we go. And it allows spur time to get on with the matter in hand. But yeah, the headphones, Jason sort of broken and had to fix them. And we were discussing just how lovely the SteelSeries Arctis headphones are. Very, very nice headphones. Corsair, again, excellent headphones. Just putting it out there for no reason at all. Just thought we'd mention it. Ched's here. Hello, Ched. Nice to see you. Yeah, he's given away, Ken. Easy, Tiger. I don't want to highlight that on OBS. Let's have a look. What are we doing? Come on, spur time. Stick with it. You and the Audi. Although that is that the newer Audi? I think it is. It's the paint job I don't use. I think no. Well, he's got a bit of damage on the front, so I'm wondering if he's had that since he had his last repair. But he's giving it a good go. Keep going, spur time. Doing well.
Chris is doing well, isn't he?
Chris is doing very well. Let's have a look. Where is Chris? Chris is coming round towards Dingledale shortly. And you are half a lap behind, basically. This track map is useful for things like that.
Yeah, you can see that.
So I can see exactly where you are. Yeah, so you're coming down the long Hawthorne Hill. And Chris has just gone through Stirling's. So he's coming up to Clearways and getting ready to come onto the start-finish straight. So Chris is a little way ahead. Spur time dropping back a bit from Jace. Five bolts in the pits. He must have damage being repaired. Must be getting damage repaired because we did see him at the side of the road, and he's been in the pits for He's been in the pits for absolutely ages. So we'll see how Chris is doing for a while. See if Jason can make any inroads. Who let this guy? Oh, you all had it. I see. If I go outside and find my tyres are let down, I'm coming straight up to your room, Max, for smack body time.
What's Max saying?
Who let this guy in our house? At Nando's earlier, I was so tempted when all the girls from Max's school came in. I was so tempted to give Max one of those colouring in sheets. That would have been an interesting thing to have to explain on a Monday morning. Ryan, evening Ryan, how's it going? Oh, Jason's going to let my tyres down. I'm parked in front of his car for a start, so letting my tyres down would be a stupid idea. That wouldn't have been good, no. Oh, Max went all doughy-eyed when they walked in. They all walked past and he was all, ooh, girls, ooh, girls. You can guess what he would have drawn on it. Oh, Ched, honestly. Oh, no, Joe. I know you haven't hit my car as you were getting back on the drive. I know you're a very careful driver. I've been in the back of a car, scared witless, gripping onto the chair, the seat in front with all of my worth. I know you're nice and safe. Max, unfortunately I've kicked your PlayStation a few times tonight. Is that smoke? Has that been there before? The smoke coming out the back. Is that an old thing? Or is that just recent, as in last 10 minutes recent? Just so I know. It does look like a good stream. Look at Max here in his little boat, rowing for shore as hard as he can. Face is now coming back up on Chris, who's in 4th. It's unreal.
Where does he get his speed from? What's his secret?
Well, okay, the Honda is, despite all of my sort of digs about it being an old person's car, the Honda is a very, very good across-the-board car to drive in Assetto Corsa Competizione. It's not too difficult, doesn't have any funny quirks. There's Chris keeping over to the side, letting phase through again. Doesn't have any quirks. At the moment, the Ferrari isn't doing very well. It has an issue with its suspension. So it can be quite hard to drive. I think another good car, which again probably doesn't get the credit it should do for being a nice all-round car driver, is the Lexus. But I think really doesn't FaZe always drive the Honda, so I think you tend to find that a lot on Assetto Corsa Competizione, is people, they find a car they like and they stick with it, more so than the other sims. Things like iRacing, people tend to go with the quickest car. They may not be fastest in it, but they know that the car's speed will iron out any deficiencies, and this season it was the Porsche. Probably won't be next season, so if you have got iRacing and you like the Porsche, you've only got 3 days of fast Porsche left before another car comes and takes its crown. Jardier drives the Honda a lot. I think he drives a lot of stuff though, doesn't he, Jardier? Because he has different teams and he has quite a lot of chopping and changing. It's an absolute boat. The Honda, the Bentleys, I really can't stand the Bentley. It's just way too big. Having been up close to a GT3 car, you just think, how big is this car? How, couldn't they have just shaved off a couple of inches here and there to make it lighter? Pugwash's wife has a skeleton in the back seat just to confuse the emergency services. Okay. The Aston Martin is quite nice, PJ. Yes, I like the Aston. I've driven the Aston Vantage, the new one, and God, that is a fast car. When you put the accelerator down, it's like hyperspace. Everything just goes into a blur. It's the only car I've driven where I've put my foot flat on the floor, and you have literally been pushed back, and you're like, ugh! So I do like the Aston Martin. I don't think it's worth the money though. The interior, I wouldn't take it to a McDonald's drive-through. It'd be a nightmare. Last time I drove the Honda around the Hungaro ring, I couldn't turn in. I think that's what's known as a picnic fault, Max. Picnic being problem in chair, not in computer. So that could be just you weren't getting on with that. I mean, it's an old person's car. If you turned up at a GT3 race and said, I want to drive the Honda, they'd want you to be at least me and your dad's age before they let you anywhere near it. It's like the old British home stores. A skill issue. Honda should stick to bikes. I don't know, they did alright in Formula 1 last year.
Fucking hell, I've been consistent today.
You think what?
I've been consistent.
He has been consistent. You only come off once, that was right at the very beginning. Since then you've been, very consistent. You've been consistently consistent.
Yeah.
Mr. Consistency. It's not a leather jacket embroidery we were going to get made up anytime soon. Well, Honda's the best engines on high revs. I mean, basically Japanese engines are bomb-proof. My dad always used to buy Japanese cars. He had a Datsun, then he had a Toyota. I actually had after him I had a Toyota. I had a Supra. And yeah, the engines were absolutely rock solid. They were really, really good. Especially, I mean, these days, if you want a good, fast, reliable car, Honda Civic Type R. Spur time still going. Looks like spur time. Has he still got damage on the front? It looks like it's been repaired. I don't know if he's come into the pits and had that fixed. He's got the lads to... Oh, look, here are the two Hondas. We've got a bit of double Honda action at the moment with Wazza and FaZe. I think actually, Pug, if you're going to hang motorbikes on the wall at home, I think that skeleton in the back of your car is actually your wife sending you a message. Cosmic Wazza, what are you doing? What are you doing, dudes? Oh well. Luckily FaZe isn't dead.
Oh no.
But he was coming around and Cosmic sort of door swiped him and now FaZe is off. But FaZe looks fine. But yeah, Wazza, respect the blue. There's paddock as well, so actually there's a lot of runoff. Where is FaZe right now? FaZe is going around Mark. See, Mark's out of the way. Mark respects the blue. Look at that ping, 306. Wow, that is a stop. Although still not as high as some of the pings I've seen on iRacing. I've seen a couple of pings at like 800-900. And the car is like there, and then you see it on 3 corners away. Is that man in the background still playing? He is. That number's the ping. Yeah, the number after their name is their ping. So obviously, ideally, you want it under 100. What is it about this seat? Because now I've got an itchy nose. You had one the other day. Not like he's going to lose the lead. Said he can actually, he can take the car in, give it a thorough detailing, get it vinyl wrapped himself, and still come out and have the lead. But FaZe looks like it looks like his car is still in mode, so that's okay. Doesn't appear to be damaged. So luckily he came off in paddock hill, so there's a little bit of gravel, didn't hit a wall. It's not going to do his tyres any good for a couple of laps, but there we go. But yeah, respect the blue, everybody. Keep an eye on your. If I go to Jason's, let's put Jason full screen so you can see his interior. So, yeah, you want to be looking for blue flag markers. You'll get them, sort of might be a couple up here. Usually there's something flashing on here, on the display just behind the wheel. But always, and obviously your spotter will tell you, but always respect the blue. You don't have to lose, you can lose less than 1/10 of a second in allowing the driver on a lap further ahead of you past. Now he's got past Wazza, so that's okay. So he's back in mode. How's Stu doing in his lovely Audi? Coming round Surtees. Well, that's it, isn't it? Because the wheels, your hands are closer together, you're naturally now going to start to grip it harder. That's the excuse he gave the magistrate anyway. So he's coming through Dingledale, making his way up to Sheen Curve. Nice fast corner. Yeah. They renamed that corner the year he died. Because they had, there was, after Dingledale there was, he's gone off now, I've said that, there was a chicane. Since, I think it's 2003, 2002, 2003, there was a tiny chicane at the end of Dingledale. Whereas now you just come straight through, and it's when they renamed the corner, it was the year that Barry Sheen died, so they renamed it in Barry Sheen's honour, which was very, very nice. In fact, Barry Sheen, that's one of the earliest, he's got to be one of the earliest motorsport legends that I was aware of when I was a little kid, because they put a photograph of his x-ray of his legs on the front of the Sun, and he had so many screws, I didn't know what I was looking at, and then it was like, oh, this is somebody's legs. And you think, how'd you get all those screws in his legs? My dad uses screws on like tables and stuff. Why has he got them in his legs? That's the first time I'd heard of a Barry Sheen. Here's Les. Les is going to give us an update. I hope you all have not eaten recently. Well, you can read it. It's on there. Anyway, he's getting better. Long story short, the corner... No, it's not Silverstone there's a bomb hole. That's Jason's favourite track. That's Snetterton. But yeah, get well soon, Les. Good to see you doing better, dude. Max is chirping in about the wheel size. That's exactly the same as Buckmore Park. The wheel just kills my hands. So there's Max getting in a little chip there that he does some karting at Buckmore Park. Good seats still available. Have you got itchy fingers to jump on the mic? Says Marzi.
No.
No, he's enjoying the rest, actually. Am I Matt, by the way? I am not Jason's younger, more handsome twin brother. I am Matt, Les. You're absolutely right.
Also, Matt,
Yes.
I put a link in the description to your channel. Tell them about
Oh, really? Oh, okay, that's very nice. Now I've got 30 seconds of self. I don't like to impose. Basically, yes. If you didn't, which one is it? Sim racing. Yeah, the one I'm not doing anything at the moment. Okay, the basic.
racing stream.
Yeah, my race. So if you like racing, okay, I'm not racing at the moment. I've had 3 weeks without a race because I'm just having a bit of a sabbatical. But in the description of the video down below, Jason has put a link to Ivan Lendlshed. You know it, the absolute goat. Couldn't win Wimbledon, but nor could I, so it doesn't really matter. In the description below, there's a link to my channel, Matt Fox Sim Racing. So if you like. I don't tend to do a set of course competizione. I find the feedback very vague. I've got a lot of stuff on there with R Factor 2, with the new low fuel motorsport online system for them. A lot of iRacing stuff. So if you like watching races, all my races are like 40 minutes long or thereabouts, 30 minutes to 40 minutes. You can check that out. That's very nice of Jason to put that. I look far younger than Jason anyway. Les, you didn't mention that you were having a problem with your eyes. I thought it was just your breathing. You might want to get your eyes checked out, Les, just in case. Thank you very much, PJ. No space stuff tonight. Not tonight, but for my other channel, Fox Galactica, which is not linked below. I've just started playing space games to have a bit of a break from motor racing. So I've been playing Star Citizen. I'll be doing a bit of Elite at some point as well. Maybe a bit of No Man's Sky.
Sorry.
But yeah, I'm actually streaming tomorrow evening at 7 PM on Fox Galactic. I'll be doing Star Citizen. I've got a new ship to play with, so I can show you all my space bunk beds. Exactly, yes, Reverend. Thank you, Stephen. You're absolutely bang on. I am a Reverend of the Universal Life Church of California, ulc.org. If you want to be a Reverend, go there, put your name in. It's easy. Be a Reverend. Why not? We can all be Reverends.
We can all be irrelevant together.
I blew my... Oh, yeah, space... The first stream I did of Star Citizen was 2 hours, and it was all going so well. I did a talk around the game, and I was showing some of the finer points, and I said, let's do a mission. And I picked up this cargo, and I had to deliver it, and then my wife came in and started talking to me about how the cat had puked on the new carpet, and I got distracted, and crashed into a planet and blew up. It happens. You can get distracted doing streams.
Tell Cosmic I'm coming through.
Cosmic, Jason is on his way. I think Cosmic will be all right.
Just have to pull over.
I say, if you've been caught up and you're under blue flags, and there's plenty of indications that you're being given blue flags, you don't need to just be number one. And this is the same for multi-class as well. Number one, be predictable. Whether you stay on the racing line or get off the racing line, don't do it at the last second. Be predictable. Just stay where you are. But do a little micro lift. So your foot's on the accelerator, just take it off, then put it back on. That's sort of the equivalent of if you get a 0.5 second slowdown in Gran Turismo. So what will happen is your car will just slow, and then you can carry on going. But that tiny drop in speed is going to cost you maybe 1/10 maximum on your lap time, but it allows the car behind with the continuing momentum just to pull straight past you, and everybody's happy. Do it on one of the long straights is better. So now would be good, Cosmic, as you're approaching Hawthorne's Bend. Or is this Paddock Hill? Oh no, it's Clearways. There we go. So Cosmic's moved over. Nice. But say for optimum safety, do it on a straight, because in the corners you've got the tracking out. So you've got this momentum pushing you off the track. And if you get it a bit wrong, if you're trying to go wide and let them cut the inside, it could actually take you off into the grass. So let them come past. Tiny little thing. Jace is chasing Wazza. Standard, says Pug. We've had a gift. Mick, thanks very much, Mick. I didn't hear that come up, so apologies, but there it is. Mick has, and thanks David for the sub, Mick has donated a membership to Herman. So welcome, Herman. You get as a member stream on Sunday, 9:30 English time. I'm gathering you're in Holland, so it's probably 10:30 p.m. your time. So Sunday night, 9:30 British, 10:30 Europe. American Truck Sim. Come along, get in the chat. It's just a members stream, so if you're not a member, you won't see it flagged up anywhere else. It's in our sort of special members area. You'll get the link, and then yeah, come and join in. And obviously, there's a draw for £30 of is it three £10, isn't it?
Yeah.
Three £10 vouchers of whatever system you're using, and ultimately what that means is, what's his name? What's his name?
What is his name?
Poods. Basically,
Oh, yeah, Poods.
we all go into a hat and Poods wins. That's what happens every month. Poods has basically, he's done better out of the members streams than like Warren Buffett does on just the general stock market. You put your money every month, and every month on a member stream, Poods' name comes out of the hat. I think he's got some negatives with Jason in a compromising position, but that's just a nasty rumour. So we'll see what happens. Good evening, Marlesco. Nice to see you. A lot of people are going to be joining the stream, and they are not going to have a clue what the hell is going on.
What was the football this week?
It finished ages ago. It's 10 o'clock now, so yeah, it finished.
How many have we got watching?
128 is on the counter at the moment. Don't know how many likes we've got. Mel's gone quiet without saying goodbye, but unless Mel has gone to bed and I missed it. But yes, you know, come and join in. It needs to be Melody Pugwash. It's not just Mel. It has to be Melody. It's got to be the full title.
Oh god, I'm coming up behind spur time again.
Up behind. Oh, Spur Time's going to have post-traumatic overtaking.
Kittens, isn't it?
It's tradition. I mean, you're well ahead of him on track. You're a whole lap ahead.
Yeah.
But yep,
I'm going for third tonight. I don't know whether I've said this. I'm going for a third.
you're going for third.
I'm going for a max podium.
I think you're going 156 likes. Thank you, Stephen, for letting us know. 22 from David. So between David and Steve, we've got a rush of 35 likes. 33 likes. There we go. While I'm actually at this terminal, I should add loads of commands. 157. Lovely stuff. Mark Peters, throwing the memberships around like £10 notes and Spearmint Rhino, and Joseph Adams has had one stuffed down his thong.
Lovely. Joseph is really lucky.
So, Mr. Adams, welcome, Mr. Adams. You're in the members stream.
The original Mr. Predictable.
Exactly, he is Mr. Predictable.
Thank you, Mark.
Has Max done his homework yet? It's Friday night. Let the kid live a little. Goodness me, he can do it tomorrow.
After work.
Yeah, when he gets back from work, after he's been put through his minimum wage slave driving job, he's gonna do that tomorrow. What's the dog front? Dog front is still asleep.
She's been to sleep that whole time.
She's doing good. She's having a dream. Her little legs are sort of moving a bit, so she's dreaming that maybe
She's been travelling to sleep.
Jace has left one of the sausages out. Is he chimney sweeping? It's not so much sweeping. You tie him to the stick and throw him up, and his floppy hair gets rid of all the stuff in the chimney. Dean's Game Hub. Hi, nice to see you. But yes, as I was saying before I went off on another tangent, if you've just joined and you have no idea what the hell this is, obviously GameTech is over there, and I'm Matt from normally the chat doing the moderating, Matt Fox Sim Racing, a channel address in the description. But we've had a play date today. We've done each other's nails, we styled our hair, put our temporary tattoos on of unicorns and Pokemon, various sort of things. It's been good. It's been a lovely day, isn't it? It's been a fantastic. I always, I'm not just saying this, he's here. I always have a lovely time when I come down and visit Jace. It's really, really good. I'm the one with the bad dad jokes. Elgarth, thank you very much. That's very kind of you.
Why is not Elgarth not racing?
Why is Elgarth not racing? Who cares? Elgarth who? I don't know. He's too busy getting a ride in his old Jaguar or whatever it is. His vintage car. Do I think LFM will come to PS5 and ACC? No. It won't. Simple as that. It's all about how the servers work. And for the console version, the servers don't work in quite the same way. For LFM, they've already discussed this, and they have said they will definitely not become... Max is going to go iRacing? What? Seriously? Yeah, LFM have said that they're not going to be doing console. So, unfortunate, but you're just going to have to stick with either community-based racing, like what we have here, or find some public lobbies, or maybe find a league. There's plenty of leagues out there that are going on the PlayStation 5. But, yeah. I rock. Thanks very much, Herman. You rock too. In those sunglasses, you definitely rock. I'm not going to argue with you. Cheeky channel promo. It's in the description. I didn't mention anything until your dad said it. Yeah. Obviously, Gaming to the Max, also a lovely channel to follow if you must, if you've got nothing else to do, I suppose. If you're at your wit's end. If all the paint in your house has dried and you want something to do, then yeah, Gaming to the Max. It's fine. What have they put in this Coke? That's fine. So it's Chris is coming up on Potter's shiny pink, purple McLaren, and this is not for position. So Chris is a lap down, but he's closed that gap quite nicely. He is a very good racer, is young Chris. If I'm not, yeah, I'm just having a bit of a sabbatical, Elgarth, to be honest. I get occasionally. I'm a very not faddy, but every so often I'll just go off something for a little while. So yeah, for the moment, my last race was 3 weeks ago on iRacing. It was a pretty good race. I got taken out, but it was a pretty good race, and I finished it. And we had some good racing at the back of the grid. I was racing quite closely with. If any of you watch streams on Twitch on iRacing, you might be familiar with Annie Rabbets, who's up in Scotland, South African lady, very very nice racer, lots of fun, and we were having a battle for about 10 laps or so that was good. And I was spoiler alert, I was praying that she'd cock it up in the last lap, and she did, and I took her place, so that was nice. But that's the last race I had, and at the moment I just don't feel like in a racy place. I had a little go earlier on here, it's okay, but I'm not going to start going back on it yet, which is a bit ironic because now I've been racing quite a lot on R Factor 2 on Low Fuel Motorsport, which I think at the moment is the best online racing system anywhere. But I've just sort of had a bit of a break, and I've stepped back and I've decided to go into space and fly some spaceships into planets. Yes, Elgar, thanks very much. No harm with charging the batteries, yeah. I don't know, I'll be back on it at some point. I'll tell you what, it's so big. It's so big, Jason. I can't miss kicking this PlayStation. It's huge. I don't have a PlayStation 5. The only ones I've actually seen in real life are the two in Jason's house. Jason is to PlayStation 5s what I'm to air fryers. So, but I just keep booting them, so they're so massive. I don't hit the barriers so often in space games. Yeah. Well, in Elite, I've got an Anaconda, so I use auto dock because the Anaconda is a nightmare just to fly. Chris, what are you doing, dude? Going very slowly in the pits, really slowly, super slowly. Why is he going so slowly? I don't know what he's doing. He's going up. He's just literally crawling, and auto takeoff. Well, if you've got auto launch, you might as well have auto takeoff. You just have to remember though, if you're streaming it, you've got to turn off the music. It is old, but they've got that as an option now in the game. Since they redid it with Odyssey, you've now got streaming mode, so you can turn off all the and it does turn it off. So I don't know. Perhaps it's better safe than sorry. Chris has found the accelerator. There, oh no, he stopped. Perhaps he was adjusting it as he came into the pits. Preparation, Chris. Learn from the master. If he's not around, learn from Jace. Oh look, talking of Jace, here's Stu. Jace was getting a blue flag and Jace allows Stu past because that's the sort of guys we are. Spur Time's internet has dropped. Oh, Spur Time!
You should be able to come back.
Tell Mrs. Spur Time to hold the wire coat hanger above her head. We've discussed this.
We're not going to hit now.
Exactly. Who's he going to drive into? There he's going again. Spur Time's going. That's better.
He's back in.
He's back in. Lovely. Mrs. Spur Time has now been admonished and is holding the wire coat hanger in the right spot. Maximum reception has been achieved. Yes. Anyway, going back to Les. Yeah, ACC. I mean, let's be honest. At the moment, if you're a console racer only, and there's a lot of people who are, because obviously the community was really built with the racing side on Gran Turismo on the PlayStation. If you are a console racer, it's very hard to get really good in-depth racing games. Gran Turismo does a lot of things well, does a lot of things not so well. And again, Project Cars 2 did a lot of things well, did a lot of things not so well. And ACC is a really serious sort of full sim, to use the sort of funny cult way of saying it. It's Giga Sim, as the kids would say. It's a Giga Sim. So yeah. But the thing is, the reason why you get so many serious sims on PC rather than console is simply because there's so much data that the tracks are all laser scanned, the cars are all meticulously put together with a lot of mathematics, all being done on different parts of the cars at the same time. R-Factor 2, each tyre has 9 points of measurement on it, which is more than any other sims. So you can really see in real time your tyre degradation, heat, where you can flat spot your tyres in R-Factor 2. So you're driving along and your wheel is doing this all the time. It is the only game that does a flat spot, and it does it accurately, and it's superb. It kills your hands, but it is just superlative. But that takes data, and a lot of consoles, they simply don't have the dedicated processor to handle that. The PCs, you've got a massive CPU, and you've also got another CPU inside the GPU helping to crunch the numbers. So that's why you tend to find most of the big serious sims are PC only. But now you've got one which has come to console. It's a breath of fresh air. So you've got this alternative to Gran Turismo, because Gran Turismo, again, especially online, can be a bit hit and miss with other drivers. On Assetto Corsa Competizione, it tends to be a lot more serious because it is a lot harder than Gran Turismo to keep the car on the track. So yeah, if you can find a good lobby on ACC, I mean, again, he may have gone, he hasn't been in the chat for a while, but John Vorter did a lot of ACC and would always, even if he qualified near the front, he'd always start from the back, because within one lap all the idiots would have taken themselves out, and if you've got the pace, you work your way back through the field quite quickly. So it's nice that ACC has had the update to 1.8 on PlayStation 5, because now you're getting a much better handling model than the old ACC, and it is a much better game. It still has some deficiencies over the PC version. They have to make some sacrifices, but I was playing this properly for the first time earlier. We were talking about the graphics, which for a lot of people is really the main thing, and ultimately, you know, when you're driving, you're focusing on the road. There is virtually indistinguishable difference between this on PlayStation 5 and on PC, which is being run at a medium to high medium. When you see them being run on a 4090 on Ultra, there is a difference. But certainly the average PC running ACC will look no different to this. I wouldn't be surprised in future if consoles start to get modular, so they have their own GPUs. Instead of replacing the whole console, you can replace the GPU with a better GPU. So it would turn your PlayStation, let's say PlayStation 6, into a PlayStation 6 Pro, just by replacing one component as opposed to buying the whole thing. It's a lot cheaper for the companies to build, a lot cheaper for you to buy, and also you wouldn't have this massive scalping problem, because on its own the module is worthless. So maybe that's the way we're going to go to in the future, as Jace is creeping very slowly up to Stu Allen's backside. Is it? Yes, it is. I recognise Stu Allen's backside anywhere, because it's in an Audi, obviously. How is Chris getting on? Let's have a look at Chris, shall we? Chris is plodding on nicely. Oh, he's coming up on FaZe. So maybe, I think FaZe has decided that being 8 laps in the lead is probably enough for anyone's lifetime. And he's now just... He's going to phone in the remaining 51 minutes. We've got less than an hour to go in this 3 hours racing extravaganza. The time has flown. Yeah, that would be awesome, Herman. I don't see why not. I mean, because with the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro, you can take out the hard drive and get a better hard drive, and you can do that now with the PlayStation 5. Change the SSD. So why not just, you get a GPU and it's enclosed in a block which you can just pop in, and then when the better games come along and they need a better GPU, you take it out, you put a new one in, maybe change the CPU. It certainly isn't beyond the boundaries of possibilities. Console PS4 Pro with the steering chair, Jensen is really good, but it's not as good as a good PC. Never will be. Consoles will never ever find parity with PCs, and it's very, very simple, because now we've got to the stage where you've got the main parts that are driving the graphics, the GPUs. They're being released on a much frequent basis, maybe like every 2 years. They're finding new ways to get the most out of them, and the 30 series came out last year, 40 series came out this year, 20 series came out about 3 years ago. Consoles were expected to last between 5 and 10 years. In that time, you could have had 3 GPU updates. So consoles will never ever be able to keep up with the PC. But it's always been like that, to be honest. You look at the early consoles when PCs were getting the Voodoo 3D graphics card. You had a PlayStation 1, and then within a year, you were on a Voodoo 3 graphics card, and it was burning PlayStations left, right and centre. What you really want, obviously, is a console. If you're going to have a modular upgradable console, you want a really good power supply, which isn't going to make it sound like an Airbus taxiing every time you just start playing Rayman or something. Yes, pricing model as well. Lose money on console, make money on games. That's a big thing. But if you, why are people still going to be willing to spend 500 or 600 quid on a new console every 4 or 5 years? It could be worth more to your company to make them spend maybe 200 quid on just an upgradable modular GPU every couple of years. Hello, Michael. Nice to see you. That's a Massey Ferguson, Michael. I know my Massey Fergusons. Lovely to see Matt and Jason. Always great at the chat. Thank you very much. Very kind. Don't forget to stay for the drive time show when Jason is going to be helping all you truckers through the night with some nice, mellow, easy listening. Got an NVMe drive on your desk, putting in your 12-year-old grandson. Oh, your 12-year-old grandson's PS5. I thought he was going to be some sort of cyborg. Yeah, NVMe drives are awesome. My 2 boys, they're aged 14 and 11. Next year, just before Christmas, their birthdays come just before Christmas. I've promised them that they're going to get new PCs, and I think, to be honest, because my PC, it's got a hard disk drive, but it's got 2 solid state drives, which I have everything on. The only thing which is on like the hard drive is, well, nothing basically. It's totally empty. I've got the NVMe with the operating system and a couple of games that need to be booted quickly, but then everything else is on the solid state. I'm fully expecting to buy my boys 2 PCs and for it just to be NVMe storage, and I don't see why not, because most of the modern motherboards have multiple NVMe slots, and that is the fastest memory access. So I think even solid state drives are going to be a thing of the past within the next couple of years. TK, you're a bit late. Been on the beers. Fair play to TK. It isn't a Massey Ferguson. I know Massey Ferguson very well. Reason being, the house I grew up in when I was little, on the back of my house there was a farm. It was a dairy farm, and they had Massey Ferguson and John Deere, and I was a real, as most kids are, I was a real tractor nut. But I was quite lucky because I could actually sit on these tractors. But Massey Ferguson also has MF on the front, which is my initials, so it's very close to my heart. But yeah, so I know my Massey Fergusons from a John Deere's. How are we doing? Yeah. Is that actually his tractor, Michael? Or is it a photo of the same model? Let's keep on Stu at the moment because we've got 2 cars on screen with Stu and Jace. I mean, Jace is being very reserved here. He's not pushing too hard. This is another real dilemma. If you're racing, it's a real dilemma. What is the etiquette? If you are driving and the car behind you is faster, but you are on a higher lap, what should you do? Well, there's a couple of schools of thought for this. School of thought number 1, car behind, get back in your box and stop bothering me. The last thing you want is what we almost had earlier with Wazza and FaZe. We almost had, we had FaZe been taken out ever so slightly by Wazza, and FaZe is obviously Wazza's at the back and FaZe at the front, and that's your worst nightmare as a back marker to take out a leader. So, but the thing is, if the car behind you, even though you're laps ahead of them, if they are putting in faster lap times than you, then my personal recommendation is if they're quicker than you, then great, let them past and let them drag you forwards, because hopefully they will come up to the person you're chasing and either make them slow down, which gives you an opportunity, or take them off accidentally, which gives you a place, or they may let them past and now suddenly you're fighting for position. So my reasoning is, if you've got a car behind you who is laps down but is clearly faster than you, just let them by. It's not going to hurt your race. You're fine, you crack on, use them to drag you forward. Again, it's all about the long game. Who doesn't like a good tug from a back marker? I think Ched speaks for all of us on that one. Is that Farming Sim 22, Pa? Oh, it must be, because you're talking about tell the difference between a garden fork and a teaspoon. That's the last time I come to one of my Let's Go's barbecues. That is his Massey Ferguson. Very nice. Did it have the flappy bit on top of the exhaust? That was always one of my, apart from the linkage at the back, that was always one of my favourite bits of the tractor, was the flappy bit on top of the exhaust. I loved it. I don't know why, I just like to see them. I like flappy bits. No. You won't find me in with that crowd. Oh, here we go. Les has got you've got a 4K 65-inch TV. That is some combination. I'm sure when you get home from hospital, Les, you'll be straight back on the racing. Needs to download some of the ACC packs. If you're going to get any of them, Les, I had this question earlier. Of all the packs that are currently available, I'd say the best one to get would be the American Track pack, as opposed to the Challenger pack. The Challenger pack has something like 4 cars in it, 5 cars, but only the one you can see on screen now that Stu Allen's driving, the Audi RA Evo 2. That's the only car worth having, because it's the only GT3 car in the pack. You've got the Porsche Cup car, the new one, the 992. That's very nice, but there's no online lobbies for it. Nobody drives it. Even on low fuel motorsports, nobody drives it. You've got the BMW CS or C2 competition. Nobody drives it. Nice car. Nobody drives it. You've got the Ferrari Challenge. Nobody drives that. Even less people drive that than the BMW. It's just not worth it. The Audi is an absolute weapon. It really is. But you're getting one car, a load of cars you don't want. I would say get the American Track pack. British pack. The British pack is good. The British tracks are really good. I mean, you've got Alton Park, you've got the King of Tracks, Snetterton, obviously, and you've also got Donington. So that if you like the British tracks, definitely worth getting. And it also has, you can play, if you're playing it offline, you can do the British GT series, which is all of the British tracks plus Spa. As Elgarth has said there, if you like really good tracks like Watkins Glen, then the American Watkins Glen is far superior to any of the tracks in the English pack. It really is one of these once in. You don't get to race on these tracks very often. One of the things, I mean, I've always said, I've said it in chat. I've always said I think Assetto Corsa Competizione is actually a dying game, and what I mean by a dying game is it's signed to a very exclusive licensing deal, and what that means is it's really so tight. Look at Brands Hatch. You're just going past the entrance to the Indy circuit there, as they've gone round Surtees. And the Indy circuit is quite a nice little track to have a blast round, but you can't drive it in this because they only drive on the full Grand Prix circuit. And so you've got all these tracks with good variations on. I mean, Paul Ricard, how many variations there? But you've got all these tracks with good variations, and you can't use them. And there's only so many cars that they can put in the game. So there's very limited in terms of content, and a racing game ultimately lives or dies on content. If you were to go into the public lobbies, you'll see a lot of GT3 at Monza, GT3 at Spa, and it gets a bit samey. So Kunos as well, they're focusing all their attention really now, most of it, on Assetto Corsa 2, which is due in 2024. So we're not that far away from it, just over a year. Might see it, they might do the early access route like they did with Assetto Corsa Competizione, so you might see it coming later next year, maybe in a year on early access with limited stuff released. But certainly their focus is on that. So and the thing is with exclusive licenses is at one point the license will end. They will stop paying for it. So you won't get new tracks. Everybody online in the forums and Discard always says, oh, we really want to race on the Nordschleife. Never going to happen because these cars don't race on the Nordschleife. So, oh, now here we go. So is Stu going to let Jason past even though he's a lap down? Yes, but he could use you. And there we go. There we go. So he lets you past. Doesn't interfere with his race. That's okay, but you won't get penalised. Now, on R Factor 2, if we had this situation, Jason would have to pull over for Stu, because R Factor 2 has a very similar blue flag system to Formula 1 in real life, in that if you go through a certain number of blue flags without yielding, you get disqualified. So if this was R Factor 2, he'd have to let Stu back past him, and the discussion about, you know, even if you were faster, unless you can pull out a second to a second and a half in less than half a lap, Stu's gone in the pits. He's playing the long game. Unless you can pull that time out and get rid of the blue flags, you can never get past. So R Factor 2 is very tight on that. He slipped inside. Jason certainly did slip inside Stu Allen there. Everybody was there. I saw it, you saw it. Nobody can deny that. Croft is not in ACC British Track Pack though, because again, these tracks don't race at Croft. The cars in the British GT series don't race at Croft. Croft's a bit of a small track for GT3s, to be honest. So you won't. They're still going, Duck. They are still going. I'm still going, incredibly. Usually my voice would have gone long ago, but I can talk for England. Stu's in the pits, isn't he? You're quite right. Let's have a look. He's taking. What's shiny purple Potter? He's got out on his own. About Chris. Chris is still going.
What about FaZe? Put him on.
FaZe. Let's see the master at work.
Exactly. He deserves.
Get some tips from FaZe. He's at the front.
Who's car 46?
Car 46 is Stu Allen. He's got a stop go. Speeding in the pits. Probably didn't put his speed limiter back on. He wants you to catch him up, Jace. That's what it is. He wants it. Ooh. That's what he wants. He wants Jace to catch him up.
FaZe deserves a bit of time.
I mean, you're right there, Zed. Stamina. You know, even there's a very popular saying in the sim racing world, and that is, the cars aren't real, but the racing is. You can get really, really mentally and physically fatigued. Jason obviously not physically fatigued because of the old guns there. He's got lovely stamina. I read that in the toilets today at Nando's. But you need it's really the mental bit, which is very tiring. His arms are aching a bit. His arms. Does granite ache? Does granite ache? I don't know if chiseled rock can ache. Duck. It's coming up. Jace is coming up behind Wazza. Alert, Wazza. Jace is coming up behind you. Let's facilitate. Can I pass a message on? Oh, look. Les is having an epiphany. Les says, I contemplate and think when I'm in hospital. I'd like to apologise if I've been a silly willy in chat and on track. If you're a silly willy, Les, in hospital, you're probably wearing the gown back to front. Dude, the gap goes behind you. You're totally fine, Les. I could have told you that. I knew what Jace was going to say. You're totally fine. Jace is a good lad. Yes, Duck, it is granite. Seriously, that isn't a tattoo. That's chiselled on.
It's going to get dark. The stream is going to end at night time.
The stream is probably, I think it is, isn't it? 'Cause we're up to 8 PM. We are going to get that. If it goes to night time, anything can happen, especially if you've got minor front damage, because then your headlights won't work. So if you've got minor front damage, might be worth coming in on your next pit stop and getting it cleared. Lee's had the hospital gown on backwards, and the nurse got an eyeful of all 4 inches of it. Oh, he's coming up behind Mark. It's all right, Mark's fine. He's always out of the way. Yeah, perfect. Mark knows. He stays. Mark goes out of his way to get out of your way. That's actually a really nice slogan. You should get that on the back of your car, Marky. I go out of my way to get out of your way. It's nice customer service. You're in your Marvel PJs. That's okay, because Jason's got a Marvel Advent calendar. So it's okay to wear Marvel stuff. It's fine. And this is where Les tells us now he's dressed as Black Widow. You're 48, Zed. Oh, get in the child seat, son.
I would say Les is
Widow Twanky. I think I heard that right. These were blocking my ears a bit, but I'm sure it was Twanky.
Yeah. I'm third, by the way.
He's third again. I reckon he's going to get second, because you're on the same lap as Potter in his shiny purple car. There's Spider-Man pyjamas. Hope you're not flinging stuff across the other beds there, Les.
Well, is he actually in hospital?
He's actually in hospital with tubes and everything, but he's getting better.
Well, tell him get well soon.
And Kaz says get well soon as well, because actually, Les, we mentioned you earlier before the stream started. So yes, Kaz sends her best. The lovely Kaz, obviously, to give her a full name. That is her full name. I've seen it on her checkbook. It says the lovely Kaz. Capital letters and everything. It's good. Can we win by weight? I'm definitely the fattest. Well, that's just a success. That's not weight. That's success penalty. In the motor racing world, you carry more weight if you have a success penalty. Yeah, thank you, Kaz. No worries, Les. I'll pass that on. A shiny purple. Yeah, shiny purple Potter. There he is. In second. Jason's going to catch him up though. Where is Potter?
Is that FaZe got? Yeah, FaZe has got.
It's alright, FaZe. Jason knows he's going to facilitate a pass very easily. Here we go. Or just ram him out of the way, FaZe. I mean, it's not really going to make much difference to his race. Down Hawthorns Hill. Here comes a little micro lift. There we go. And now FaZe will be able to pass. Jason's moved over. Go for it, FaZe. Beautifully done. There you go. Textbook. He says as Jason takes him off. So where is Potter? Potter is going through Druids now. And Jace is about half a lap behind. Yeah, I reckon if Potter's got to come into pit before this, you're going to get second.
There's only one problem.
You're going to have to pit again. But
17 laps left.
yeah, but you're only coming in for a little squirt. You're coming in for a tiny little spurt just at the end. Whereas that will take you maybe 20, 30 seconds. That's the third of a lap. You'll get this. We might... Well, I think Jason is probably going to end up with a podium at least. That's what he's going to tell all his friends. We were discussing this earlier. How to make it sound better than it actually was. Will Jason doing a Battle Royale GT7 for Christmas? I can answer that for him. unless Gran Turismo sorts out its online server creation, or lobby creation rather, where you can put the order in as based on the results from the previous race, which at the moment it currently doesn't. Unless it does that, there won't be a battle royale in the near future. Was that correct?
Yeah. I'll tell you what though, we could all install GT7.
GT Sport, go backwards and do GT Sport could do. Zedward loves the stream. Lee Burns loved this tag team, or as he's now known, Little Lee Burns. This 4 inches loves the stream. That's going to stay with you forever, Lee.
Bloody love that Lee Burns.
He's lovely, all 4 inches. Les is quite happy with GT Sport. Also as well, I mean, GT Sport, you're less likely to get randoms trying to muscle their way in, because they'll have all left and gone on to GT7. Pug says, can you keep him? The stream is good. He does keep me. I actually live under this desk. There's a cage. I thought it was for Eva the Fluffer, but no, it was for me apparently. In fact, we haven't had a Fluffer update for a while, and the Fluffer update is
She's still asleep.
still asleep. So lovely. She's so, again, Eva update because 4 inches of pure dreams. Sounds like someone's nightmares actually, but do I get fed well under there? I get scraps really, and when I say scraps, anything which when Jason doesn't eat on stream, anything which drops off his shirt, that's what I get. It's been a while since you see. I mean, GT Sport, that was he's got a fluffer. Well, we don't call it fluffer, we just call it tech maintenance. GT Sport Karma was really the game which sort of was the bedrock of the racing community on the channel, because it came out 5 years ago, which was when Jason was really sort of hitting his stride with the channel, and we had community stuff 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes twice a day, on a Thursday. Excuse me, on a Thursday, we'd have like practice in the morning. It's Thursday sometimes, but we'd have practice in the morning, and then we'd have the race in the evening. Things like the LaFerrari. Is the LaFerrari in it? Yeah, LaFerrari round Sardinia Windmills, Alsace Village long course. So we'd have that in the days when I used to play Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo Sport was a real, the foundation of which all of this fantastic community with the many types of races we've got here, where we've all come from. I mean, I had less than half an hour left. Yep, good spot there, Para. I had my annual member anniversary the other day, and it's my 5-year anniversary. So it's mad, really. 5 years. I mean, that's like a bit longer than 4 years, but not as long as 6 years.
Yeah.
Practically, that's what it is. Any mathematician will tell you that. So, it's been a hell of a long time. That's a long commitment. I mean, I could have taken out a loan 5 years ago, and when you take out a loan over 5 years, you think, oh, that's a long time. But to actually support a stream, and at the time, actually, because I remember I put my membership, clicked the button, and Jason sent me a message saying, thanks very much, because I was one of the initial wave of members, but I remember writing, good content deserves support, and I've been supporting him for 5 years, so it's been good. There hasn't been, again, not just because he's sitting there, not because he bought me dinner, not because I won't tell him about the other thing, but again, very rough hands. There hasn't been a single time, even when there's been months where I've thought, I need to look at my finances, and there's been a couple of times in the last 5 years where I've had to sit down and go through my finances. There hasn't been a single time where I've thought, yeah, that's only £5, or however much it is. It'll be okay. He'll understand. I'll take it. Nope, left it. It's fine. It is ring fenced. Nobody. I actually did a purge this week on things that I don't watch, subscriptions I don't use. Love Honey. I still use that. Preparation H, subscribe and save, tingly play gel, still use that, it's fine. Marigold rubber, I use all these things together, by the way. Microprose Grand Prix music was excellent from Les, yes. Oh, we've got a conversation going on. Jason's, yeah, basically I've been paying Jason's loan for 5 years. What has been people's best racing game ever on any platform? So Les has opened that up to the chat. Best racing game ever. Lotus Esprit Challenge on the Amiga. That was good, Les. Music was good. I think you mentioned music. Gran Turismo. I mean, yeah. Gran Turismo 1 and Toka for Jace. Obviously, it's going to have a sentimental value. What do I think is the best racing game I've ever played? Because I've played racing games on console. It's probably, I don't know, Jace, you didn't have an Atari at the beginning, did you? 2600? No. I had an Atari 2600, and my first racing game on that was Indy 500, and it came with a special control. The paddle control on the Atari went so far one way and so far the other way, and it stopped. But the Indy 500 one would just spin and spin and spin. This blew my mind at like 10 years old. So Night Racer was good. Enduro was better. The best racing game on the Atari 2600 is Enduro by Activision. Snow, nighttime, daytime, rain, puddles, everything. Really good.
Turbo Spree. That was
Turbo Spree, yeah.
First had the term pea soup for fog.
Yeah.
There was a level called pea soup.
But I was saying this. I was a guest on a podcast about a year ago, and I was going through my racing history. These cups are really small on your ears. They sort of. I've got big ears. You know what to say about big ears? Yep. Means you hear more. But these are quite small cups. You've got to try my Corsairs on because the pads are so lush. But I tend to find that my love of racing games seemed to be tied into a peripheral that made it more realistic. So you had the Indy 500, and then the next big jump for that after that for me really was the Sega Saturn, and that came with the Sega Arcade Racer, which you sort of had the big wheel thing. And then I had F1 2007, and I got a Logitech GT Force wheel with pedals, and I thought that was amazing. And then it would have been the G29 with Gran Turismo Sport, and then obviously the upgrades and wheels after that. So as the peripherals have got better to match the games and make them easy to play, that's really when I've paid attention. Still going strong, Payday. We are still going strong. It is getting dark.
It is.
I would definitely not follow Jason into the woods if it was this dark. Now,
Such a liar.
he'd be chasing me out of the woods like he did. No, we won't go into that either. But yeah, what are people saying? Revs on the BBCB. I had Revs Plus on the Commodore 64. Couldn't play it. Absolutely confused the life out of me. Scratch and sniff tyre rubber disc for Gran Turismo. Cool. Yes, you can set. Well, it's all down to when you own a server, Duck. You can set the race as long as you want. For the single player endurances, 3 hours is really kind of the most you're going to get before people start dying of dehydration. Phase, what did I say? 120 laps, was it? Yeah, 40 laps an hour, 120 laps. We've got 22 minutes. Phases on 107 laps.
Look at these graphics at night.
Yeah, I mean, it's superb. The only thing I find about nighttime racing on this is if you're behind the McLaren, you can't tell when it brakes. The brake lights are really small and they don't illuminate the road as well as some of the others. Because when I'm behind the cars on ACC at night, I get, as you see Jason was braking there, you see the road highlight, the red on the road is more obvious than actually the brake light. So I tend to look down at the car in front and I'll know it's braking because of its because of the bit of tarmac. So it just goes on again there. Yeah, you can do longer races. I mean, with your own server, you can even have driver swaps. They're quite fiddly. You can't have driver swaps on PlayStation, actually. You can on PC, you can't on PlayStation. But on the PC servers, again, they're quite fiddly to get set up. You need everybody's Steam ID, which is a long number and stuff. So checkered flag on the Spectrum, that was a good one. Pit Stop 2 on the Commodore 64, that was a good one. That used Brands Hatch, and it had the start-finish line in the wrong place. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of other driving games, like iRacing, does driver swaps really well. We haven't done any team endurances for ages now, but when we do, with me and Jace and Max, the driver swap aspect is so smooth. As long as I haven't disconnected, the driver swap aspect is so smooth. It's we'll get Elgarth in as well. Yeah, he's got. Yeah, we'll make a foursome. Pole position 2 for Atari 7800. That's really niche. Atari 7800 para. It's a shame they didn't have, they had to use the same sound chip as the previous consoles. Otherwise, that'd have been a much better game than it was. Ferrari F1 was a great race. Elgarth, obviously, iRacing brought me to sim racing proper. Yeah, I mean iRacing. I mean, I don't know how many of you have been on the channel a long time. By long time, I mean 2018. But I started when I made the jump from console to PC, and then I started. So I wanted to experience a lot of it in VR, like Project Cars 2 and Assetto Corsa. But then I thought, I was looking at iRacing, and I started iRacing, and I was the only one on the community who did it. And the thing I found was, Sparks, that was pretty. That's Mark. I was noticing that iRacing was really hard. There's no sort of tutorial, there's nothing. It's really difficult to get into iRacing. The learning curve is like that. There's no curve, it's just a straight line. So I made a guide, I made a PDF. It was like 10 pages of how to start in iRacing. Once you'd installed it, how all the menus worked, how the schedule worked, how the licenses worked. And it's taken a little while for us to get quite a few people on iRacing. But we've got a nice little core building. There's quite a few of us now who can play it. Last race in long career mode is 24 hours as payday. I think you can pause it though and save it, can't you? Because you don't, in real life, you don't. Only one person has ever done Le Mans 24 hours solo. And he did it drunk. And he won. He won. It was in the pub. And he lost a teammate. They said, we need you to drive. So he drove. But he had to drive it on his own. But he only had a skinful. But he still managed to win. Yeah, backward compatibility was a key thing there, Parry, you're right. I mean, I've got a lot of emulation stuff, as has Jace on his cabinet. So I've got a lot of the emulation stuff, and I love playing the 7800. I think it's a great thing. Also, you've got the Evercade, little handheld gaming console with Atari games on it you can get. Good luck, lads, says Duck. There's not much good luck left. There's only 18 minutes. How long you got? Eight laps, 18 minutes. So that's going to be 8 laps. That's 12. 12. No, getting this wrong. 8 laps. That's 12 minutes. So you're going to have to stop 6 minutes before the end. So 6 minutes is going to be 5 laps. What's your 2.89? Is that 2.09? So if we say 7, that's 14 litres you'll need, roughly. 14.5 litres. If you keep driving this slowly, then yeah, 14 or thereabouts. I think my sum's right, chat. See you later, Michael. Thanks for dropping by. What car would you recommend for a D licence in iRacing? Whether you're saying you want to get a D licence or if you're at D licence, it depends what cars you want to drive, Karma. If you prefer the open wheel stuff, or if you prefer GT racing like this. If you like the GT racing and your aim is to go into the bigger GT races like the GT VRS Sprint or IMSA later, then get the Ferrari 488. Because it's such a jack of all trades. It's a really good car, and you've got your own series in D class, and it's very well populated. If you don't like GT cars, if there's a specific type of driving you like, tell me what it is, and I'll tell you what car to drive. Because I've done iRacing for nearly 5 years, and where iRacing doesn't help you, I like to think that I know enough about it where I can help you. Or we're at the business end. This is the business end of the race now. I'm surprised. It's 10 to 11, Les. I'm surprised they're letting you watch the stream in bed in a hospital. I'm sure at the start of this year in January, I was in hospital for about 5 days. I had a pulmonary embolism, a blood clot on the lung, which was as a result of me having blood-like treacle, a COVID injection, and recent surgery on my foot, which meant a long period of sitting around not doing anything, inactivity. So that allowed a blood clot to form on my lung. So I was in hospital, and I've got to say, if you sniff loudly after 10 p.m, you get stared at by all the other octogenarians in the same ward. So how you're managing to watch a screen with a little light coming off of it? Hope you haven't got your 65-inch TV in the hospital ward. It's some poor bugger's life support machine is draining because the 65-inch TV Les has just jammed into the wall. Has taken all his power. Yeah, if you like GT car, Formula V's all right. If you're going to progress from Formula V, D licence. If you want a really fun car to drive, there's two popular open wheelers. One is Skip Barber. Skip Barber is quite hard to drive compared to the others because it uses road tyres. And there's not much downforce. So a bit like the Formula V, you've got to be able to know how to handle it and slide it a lot. Otherwise, the IR04, which is their Formula 4 car, slick tyres, bit more downforce, transparent halo, massively popular. Not that fast in the grand scheme of things, but fast enough for a lot of the drivers to have exciting wheel-to-wheel racing. So you can try that. Fixed GT4. That's D licence, that's not bad. I don't tend to like GT4 racing, I find it a bit slow. But the Ferrari series, very well populated, good car, and you can keep that car all the way through to A licence and still compete in it then. So it's very versatile. GT4s in iRacing are one of the most popular series at the moment, and I think really that's because they've introduced more cars recently. We've had the McLaren, the Aston, the Mercedes. And now you've also got the Porsche and I can't remember the other one, but you've got a lot of GT4 cars in the field. You've got a lot of choice. When the GT4s first came out in iRacing about 18 months ago, there was only like 2 cars you could choose. Good evening, Martin Pater. Good evening, Martin. Very long time no speak. How are you, buddy? Martin would have been nice to have in here because he would have given FaZe a run for his money.
Yeah.
Martin is lightning fast. Lightning fast. Really is. Nice to see you, Martin. Thanks for coming in, dude. Well, I hope you couldn't, PJ, because you've got a new fiancée. And I think if you listen to me talking all day, you wouldn't have a fiancée. You'd have another evening looking at a pot noodle. So you don't want to... you don't want me talking about racing stuff all day. You don't want me talking about anything all day, to be honest. You're in a room with 5 other men. Hopefully that is the ward and not a broom cupboard, Les. You forgot your headphones. Oh, you are Mr. Popular on that ward. If you've got the volume on your phone all the way up... Nurse! Nurse, he's out of bed again! In fact, if anybody has got this coming out of their TV... Alexa, buy everything on my wish list. There we go. Oh, Martin's bemoaning the fact it's on console. We don't touch console. We don't touch console. Martin.
Well, we do this on PC.
We do it on PC. You're correct. Console. Exactly, Les. Get them in the stream. You have 5 new members. In the other sense. You don't want to be saying, I went in a room with 5 other men and came out with 5 new members. Look at that. Para dropping a gifted sub, and that is going to Rob Beresford, who's lurking in the background. His avatar looks very surprised. I think we all are.
Thank you, Para.
Para, thank you very much. Lovely, lovely, generous Para. There it is. and a Merry Christmas. I love the bloke on the video the other day. Do you celebrate Christmas in the UK? That was hilarious.
Fucking Americans think they invented everything. Oh,
TK's just had to cancel Alexa. It's a shame.
Matt.
Yes. Yeah. Oh no. Jason's hit a wall. He's not going to get second now. You have to repairs. What was your repair time? Do you know? Pressure MFD. Oh, you're done. It's 11 minutes for the end of a 6-hour race, a 3-hour race. Stick a fork in him. Juice is running clear. Well, that's good news for Potter. Little shiny purple Potter. Where is he? We can't really tell that Potter's purple at the moment because it's all dark. There he is. This is crawling back into the pits. Like I'll be crawling back into my house later. There's FaZe coming up on Chris. Chris is going to let him past. Chris is still going.
Fuck's sake.
You were doing so well as well. What's your... That's 23 seconds of repairs. Well, I think you're still going to come out maybe ahead of spur time. Just a tiny... Yeah, that was Para's fault for gifting a sub. All the excitement...
No, it was after that. About
Was it?
Christmas in America.
Oh, about Christmas in America. Oh, so it was my fault.
Yes.
But ultimately, it was that guy's fault for saying, do you celebrate Christmas in the UK? Unbelievable. I can't remember. If you're in the chat and you're the one who wrote that, come on, Christmas in the UK. We celebrated it before, we sent all of our never-do-wells over to America to make a country. No. That's nice to hear, Bazza. Alexa, play my sexy playlist.
Well, I'm still fourth. Is there any way I can get third? I can't.
Hello, Harry. How's it going, dude? Yes.
Is that going to fix my windscreen? Though, is it?
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
You okay? 9 minutes. Did you put enough fuel in? 10 laps. 20 laps. Holy mackerel. 9 minutes. That's only 6 laps. I set it off again. I've triggered everybody's Alexas. This is good. This is why you buy headphones and not play it through your TV. Alexa, swap my neighbour. TK's had to stop Alexa again. Brilliant.
Well, I'm still happy with the fourth.
Alexa, play AC/DC Volume 10. How lovely.
I mean, someone might have to. Who's in front of me?
On track,
Yeah, no, just in.
in race terms, it's Stu. He's a lap ahead of you.
Yeah, has he got a pit, do you think? He might have, he might have.
No, he pitted about 20 minutes ago, didn't he? Because you went past him, and then you slipped up his inside, and then he came into the pits.
What a silly mistake.
So Stu's going to be going to the end. That's okay. I mean, he's still fourth. That's still all right.
Oh, it's good.
It's 3 hours. Fourth place. I mean, you started what, 7th or something? I think poor old Mark in Kiwiland would kill for a 4th place at the moment. He's 22 laps down, but he's play. He's still going. He's cracking on. He knows he's got obviously latency problems being based where he is, but he's joined in. He's been nice and safe. He's been respectful. If you've 07985 706 402, vote for your driver of the day, Mark from New Zealand land. That's a good idea, Les. That's a very good idea. Alexa, buy 10 copies of On the Road for PlayStation 4. There's people now getting scissors out to cut their cables. Poor old TK's cat just jumped out of her skin. Lee's Alexa's going nuts. There we go. Heavy Metal Racing. You paused it before I called for AC/DC. I'm surely with a name like Heavy Metal Racing, you'd be unpausing it For ACDC, poor old JC lost concentration and found himself on a highway to hell. But now, after his repairs, at night time, he's back in black.
I'm still happy with today's race. This has been really good.
Everybody's shouting at their Alexa to stop. This has been good, isn't it? Bless.
Well, if it happens again, which I hope it does,
Oh, yeah.
we should split the race into half.
You think so?
Yeah, definitely.
Can I go first?
Yeah, if you want.
Because I don't think I can take the moistness. Who bought on the road? That's a really good question. That's who did. I mean, they're you know, they tried to bury it in the Mojave Desert along with ET. We're nearly at the end. Just under 6 minutes to go. 4 laps remain in this race. Will FaZe hold on for the win? Where is FaZe?
I mean, Stu's done well. He's had stop and go penalties.
Well, Stu's had stop and go penalties. He's had a little bit of damage. But again, this is endurance racing. You just need to keep it on the track more than you're off the track. There's Mark. FaZe has just taken Mark. Good old Mark. Keep going, Marky.
Go grid only for the last, and then flick through big, right?
Yeah. For the last minute. We'll give it a couple. FaZe is going. Got your auxiliary lights on. I mean, to be honest as well, we know Potter is a fast driver. FaZe has been just completely different gravy for this race, and Potter is only 2 laps down.
Yeah.
So to be, and that's less than 3 minutes. So over a 3 hours race, FaZe is literally just, the guy is cranking it. He's like a Terminator. He's just cranking it. I must get lap time. He just one after another after another. Alexa, renew my membership to Babe Station. Now, obviously, Les is in hospital, so his Alexa won't be picking that up.
He's got an automatic read.
Oh, yes, it's just automatic renew anyway, just picks up every month. Colonel, stop fucking with my Alexa. Telling you, stop listening to it through your TV. It's your own fault, kids. Yeah, Chris has been doing well. Chris has had a really good race, solid. Everybody. I mean, to be honest, we started with 12 racers. We're down to 8. We lost Rusty. I can't remember who's gone because I didn't write all the names down like I thought I would. But everybody's done really well. 3 hours is a really long commitment to racing, especially on a game with vague force feedback. But everybody's done so well. The radio's just come on for Bazza. Excellent. Tell us a lot about me. I've got an Alexa in every room at home. I have to be very careful with when I say in any conversation. What's worse is you say it downstairs, but the one you're talking to doesn't pick it up, the one upstairs does, and it's got it wrong. So you've got to sprint upstairs and tell that one to shut up so you can talk to the one downstairs again.
No, I'll tell you a hack for that.
Just don't have one upstairs?
No, it's just say play radio mode everywhere.
Oh yeah, it comes on everywhere, yeah, but...
Yeah, and then Alexa stop. That's the way to do that.
Okay.
Because then it comes on everywhere. So stop.
Do I have anything that connects them to the lights? I do. They control my lounge lights. At Christmas, I've got a Wi-Fi plug adapter, and I plug in like the Christmas tree lights, and if I've got lights in the window, I plug them into the same thing, and then when it's bedtime, well, when I'm on, I can just say, Alexa, it's Christmas, and then the lights come on, and then at the end of it, I'll just say, Alexa, Christmas lights off, and all of the Christmas, if they don't have to go around and turn on everything, it turns off everything at once. I said to Jace earlier, if you watch Twitch, if you watch iRacing streams, or you watch Twitch, there's a streamer called Quirkatize. His name's Tyson Mayer. He's really, really funny. He's really good racer, phenomenally fast. And he has, his whole house is Alexa controlled. Now, he was in his basement the other day, and he was streaming, and he was sort of doing one of his setup streams where he was getting his equipment redone, and he was on his knees behind the racing rig, and everything was there, and somebody donated some bits, because when you donate bits it reads out a text message, and the text message was, Alexa, turn off basement. And then all of his lights went and his screen went, and you could just hear, you know, and it was just really funny. So you have to be really careful with what you've got Alexa plugged into, as we've found out tonight.
Final minute.
Final minute. Let's go to a bit of full screen action, and we're going to go in reverse order at the moment. Stu's let some people go past. Stu's just gone off track. You might be lucky. So Mark, there's Mark, little Kiwi flightless Mark. Look, he's got virtually no damage on his car. Perfect. Having a cracking time, even with a ping of 328, which is so big. 329 now is so big you could actually walk from New Zealand to Brands Hatch and like restart your router, and it would still take longer for you to react. So that's really good from Mark. Then we've got Cosmic in the Honda, doing really well, coming around Druids there. All the crowd have gone home. Spur Time. There he is. Spur Time had a disconnect earlier in the race. He's being chased by a little purple Potter, but we'll come to him in a minute. Then we've got Chris. There's Chris doing well, plugging away. It's his nibs. 4th place. There's Stu. Little purple Potter's just got past. Both of them. Little shiny purple Potter. We're on the last lap. On the last lap of the race, everybody. So here we are. 3 hours we've got to here. Mr. Quicko's Alexa has just said she cannot find a device named Basement. Yes, it's probably, she's got it saved as Sex Torture Dungeon. You're right there, Pug. Yeah, I've got one Echo Show. I used it earlier to call my kids and make sure they're okay when they got home, because they're expecting pizza. And there's his phase coming round the last time. We've got a gifted there. Elgarth has gifted one to Mr. Quicko.
Hey, thank you, Elgarth.
Cheers, Elgarth, dude.
Thank you.
And there it is, coming on the screen. Better late than never, Streamlabs. So here we are. Phase is coming around the last few corners. There we are. Making his way down under the bridge, coming through clearways. He's going to give us a weave over the line, Phase, if you can hear us. Try not to crash.
Silver Dream Racer style.
Here we go. Good lad. Well done, Phase.
Leader has finished the race.
Let's go to shiny purple Potter. There he is. Stu Allen coming round the last corner in the all-conquering Audi. Well done, Stu. Here comes Jason eventually. Where is he? Is that you at Surtees?
This should have been a second.
Should have been a second. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Dry. Your salty tears are just being lapped up by Potter and Stu. We've managed to finish, Les, just in time for the matron to give you your enema. Here he comes. Jason's got a few corners to go. Where's Chris? Chris is there. Coming to a stop. Spur Time's already back in the pits. Cosmic Waz has just finished coming through. Oh, in fact, on track. Oh, there's Mark. Mark's coming to a stop on the gravel. Or not.
Coming over.
And there's Jason's round. Yep. Lovely into the last corner. What a fantastic effort, everybody. Put little clapping hands in the chat if you can find the thing.
That was brilliant.
Can we have 3 people help Jason out of the rig now? Oh, we've got a thing. Oh, it's a donated. Matt Fox donated £1. No, I didn't.
Oh shit!
What's he done?
I hit Face. He was parked in the middle of the track.
There you go, FaZe. That's exactly what Jason thinks of you. Taking the piss by winning for so much. He's just rammed you. but in a loving way.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Les needs a bum wash, but not from Pug Wash. Too much information there. Is it Friday already, Les? Blimey.
He needs his bum.
It's a bum wash from Pug Wash. FaZe was doing donuts. Brilliant work from you all. Excellent commitment. Thanks for showing up, because you've got to set 3 hours aside anyway. Now you can go and explain to your other halves exactly what the hell you were doing for 3 hours, and then watch her face. Yeah, I did this race for 3 hours, and then all you're going to get back is... yeah, claps. Put claps in the chat. Well done. So cheers, .com Lee, Les, Ched. Well done, Potter. Little shiny purple Potter. Well done. Potter was probably racing from the rig of his cab as well, somewhere parked up on a hard shoulder in Antwerp. So Les has got bed sores. I'm sure Pug's not going to help you there either. He's coming back, everyone. Look busy.
Say your goodbyes.
I'm going to say my goodbyes now so that I can hand back over to Jace. But yes, it's been a real pleasure to do this for tonight. We will look at doing more of these because it was good fun. I've had good fun, and I'm glad that you've enjoyed it. Let's we just have a last word from Dog Cam. She's gone. Look, her eyes are open, but she's knackered. Bless her. Such a sweetie. She's so good. My favourite fluffy girl. But yeah, so thank you for me. If you again, shameless plug. My racing channel is in the chat. I've got another channel, Fox Galactica, which is currently what I'm using to do space stuff. I've got a stream tomorrow evening at 7 PM, a couple of hours on Star Citizen. If you want to see something a bit different, join in with that. I'll tweet it anyway. You can follow us on Twitter, Fox on Twitter, as well as GameTechUK on Twitter. Nice to see you, everyone. Cheers, Ched. Cheers, British Ace. Cheers, Joseph and Les. Chris has donated £2. Thanks, Chris. He was expecting 8th. I didn't think about that many kids, but fair play. Heavy Metal Racing, nice one. I'm going to hand over now and leave you all back with our capable boss.
Oh, these are hot. Thank you very much, Matt. That was fucking awesome, wasn't it? Thank you very much for joining. He's got to drive an hour and a half home now, so a massive thank you to him. And it was really nice just to race, and definitely it was lovely racing, full concentration, apart from that one mistake. But yes, that is it. And if we do it again, I'd love Matt to come again, and we could maybe do driver swap. That would be great. But yes, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Have a lovely weekend. I'll be streaming Sunday evening for members. Monday, I'll be showing you Fire Simulator. And maybe the next race we have will be on ACC on PC. We'll see. But have a lovely evening and a nice weekend. And we'll see you next time. See you later, everyone.